Hello. Can you hear me? Maybe too well. Can you hear my bracelets and shit? Turn it down a little bit. Ah. La 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 la. Hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Um, so I know it sounded in my last live when I said that I was going to be streaming Tuesday. Um, I know it sounded like it Tuesday, but I actually meant Thursday. So if you go back about 20 minutes, you'll see that I streamed for about a minute. So technically, I'm just saying, technically. Good morning, good night, whatever it might be for you. It is 12 a.m. for me right now. Um, Running on about 4 hours of sleep. Very tired, but I did get to go see my brother today, so that was kind of nice. Yeah. How you guys doing today? I am sleepy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very very sleepy. I'm probably only gonna. I might only stream for like an hour or two. Okay. I haven't watched the Elon Musk thing yet, but I'm probably gonna watch it. So I figured we can watch it together. And then I saw this other thing, so we might talk about that too. But do you guys want to see where I've? Do you guys want to see what I've been working on with the Dyson Sphere program? Because I've been busy. Okay, I've been busy doing important logistics stuff. Okay. But yeah, I got this bitch, this thing here, um, so I can now transfer stuff from one planet to another, and then I have a couple of these planetary ones, transferring all that shit. I got nuclear reactors. Yeah, the whole thing. I've been having a little bit of a problem though, because I refuse to leave this planet for some reason. I'm trying to get all of my look, diamonds. I'm trying to get trying to figure out how the game works, all the mechanics and everything, before I actually start focusing on other planets. Because what I want to do is, it looks like there's 3 planets within each star system. So I think what I want to do is kind of make the middle planet a midpoint for both of them. That's kind of where I'll build all the factories, and then I just kind of use the other 2 for resources. Maybe. Um, I'm still not sure how that'll work, but I do want to start pulling resources from other planets. We'll see, though. We'll see, because I am running out of resources on this planet. It's been my logistics problem this entire time. I keep as you can see here, we're running out of iron. We ran out of stone right over here. This was a whole fucking thing. Wait, not there. Here, yeah. We got 1 vein. So that's nice. Also, I stole my brother's mic, so I don't know how this sounds, but I hope it sounds alright. The mic that I have, I couldn't find a stand for it. I went to Walmart and they didn't have a stand, so I stole this while he's in Mexico. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at my Dyson Sphere. It's slowly coming together. I think I have like 1,000 solar sails going there right now. Yeah. So anyways, Elon Musk. He said some crazy things apparently. Told people to go fuck themselves for some reason. I'm going to try to figure out what that is and go from there. I started watching it a little bit. I watched like the first like 2 minutes. and I started like having a whole bunch of thoughts of just like random things that he was saying, uh, and I was like, yeah, I gotta I should go live for this. So we're gonna see how that goes. Like I said, I'm very tired, very very tired today, um, but let's see how we do.
Just leaving. We talked to Bob Iger today.
I hope they stop.
You hope?
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's gonna try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go fuck yourself.
But
Go fuck yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
well, let me ask you then.
That's how I feel. Don't advertise.
How do you think then about the economics of X? If
The economics of X doesn't make any sense to me. Isn't that company isn't it a private company? I don't think, well, yes, it's supposed to be a profitable company. It's not. It's like his little like toy, you know? Like it's not even anything yeah, isn't he fucking I want to check this real quick. I'm pretty sure it's a private company. He made it private. I don't know if I'll be able to play this while we're watching this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it stopped trading almost a year ago. So it's just private investors at this point. And is there any investor that's bigger than Elon Musk right now? I don't think he needs investors. For one, advertising is nice, I guess, but I don't see I'm probably not articulating that properly, but I don't think that he is what's the word? Bounded by that, I guess. I don't know. Wait, where'd he go? No. I lost him.
part of the underlying model, at least today, and maybe it needs to shift. Maybe the answer is it needs to shift away from advertising. If you believe that this is the one part of your business where you will be beholden to those who have this view, what do you do?
F-Y.
I understand that, but there's a reality too, right?
Yes, no.
I mean, Linda Yaccarino's right here, and she's got to sell advertising.
Absolutely. So, no, totally. No, actually, what this advertising boycott is going to do is it's going to kill the company.
And do you think that?
And the whole
I don't.
world will know that those advertisers killed the company.
I don't think okay, if it's gonna kill the company, it's because he is a hyper capitalist. You know, he's basically saying that he believes in the capitalist model so much he doesn't want to socialize or use socialism. Just feed money into a dying money pit, I guess. But to me, X is so much bigger than just that. It's a feudal lord having control of a town square in a way that supersedes money, I guess. I don't know. But if he were to let it collapse, it would be just to I don't know if he would do it to blame the advertisers, or to build a narrative that the advertisers were the ones to um, to make the company fall, but yeah, I can't think right now. I was up for like 30 hours and then I slept like 4 hours and then I woke up for some reason and I haven't gone back to bed yet. Anyways,
Company, and we will document it in great detail.
But those advertisers, I imagine, are going to say we didn't kill the company.
Oh yeah.
They're going to say
tell it to Earth.
But they're going to say, Elon, that you killed the company because you said these things and that they were inappropriate things and that they didn't feel comfortable on the platform, right? That's what they're going to say.
if he killed the company, it's not because he said inappropriate things. It's because he chose to let the company die to make the advertisers look bad. That is what he's doing right now. And I think the advertisers are falling right into his plans, per se. It's an optics battle, I guess.
Let's see how Earth responds to that.
Then this goes back to...
We'll both make our cases,
right,
and we'll see what the outcome is.
What are the economics of that for you? I mean, you have enormous resources, so you can actually keep this company going for a very long time. Would you keep it going for a long time if there was no advertising?
I was just
I mean,
saying
if the company
this.
fails because of an advertised boycott, it will fail because of an advertised boycott, and that will be what bankrupted the company, and that's what everybody on Earth will know.
What do you think then of the... I guess this goes back to the idea of trust, though.
Then it'll be gone. And it'll be gone because of an advertised boycott.
But you recognize that some of those people are going to say that they didn't feel comfortable on the platform. And I just wonder and ask you, and think about that for a second.
Tell it to the judge.
But the judge is going to be...
The judge is the public.
And you think that the public is going to say that Disney is making a mistake?
Yes.
And they're going to boycott Disney?
They already are.
Well, there are some that are for lots of different reasons. But you think that this is going to... That you have the... This goes to actually the interesting of power and leverage.
Let the chips fall where they may. Let the chips fall where they may.
Can I ask why
God
that is the
damn.
approach? I ask it because you've been
What's
very...
the other approach?
Well, you've been very particular about the approach to Tesla. When you think about the engineering involved in that, the approach to SpaceX, the approach to some of the stuff you're doing with AI has been very specific, right? There's not a let the chips fall where they may approach to those businesses, I don't think.
No, we focus on making the best products. And Tesla's gotten to where it's gotten with no advertising at all.
I understand that.
Tesla currently sells twice as much in terms of electric vehicles as the rest of electric car makers in the United States combined. Tesla has done more to help the environment than all other companies combined. It would be fair to say that, therefore, as a leader of the company, I've done more for the environment than everyone else, any single human on Earth.
How do you feel about that? No,
How do I feel about that?
Yeah, no, I'm asking you personally how you feel about that, because this goes, we're talking about power and influence and...
I'm saying what I care about is the reality of goodness, not the perception of it. And what I see all over the place is people who care about looking good while doing evil. Fuck them. Okay?
Let me ask you this, because I think part of this, by the way, there's some people who said, look, owning X to begin with has just created problems, that you've created so many amazing things that are changing our world. And I know you want to make X this fabulous town square free speech platform, but that unto itself, that has created such a distraction of all of these things. This is the conversation we're having. We're not focused, we're not talking at least yet, and we will. On Tesla, you have your Cybertruck deliveries tomorrow, and everything else that you're doing. But
yes,
is there any...
it will be the biggest product launch of anything by far on Earth this year.
Is there any part of you, though, that just says, you know what, I just shouldn't have done this, or maybe I should sell it, or give it away, or do something else? With the X piece of it.
Yeah.
Given the propensity for some of the things that you do and say on that platform to create these issues.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give that away for any. If I were him, I wouldn't give that kind of power away for anything. Like, he would just build another company like that, you know? I don't see... I don't think X is going to go under. I don't think so. But, yeah, what was he saying?
Of all the posts I've done on the platform, I think there might be 30,000 or something like that.
Right.
Once in a while, I'll say something foolish.
He does look like a lesbian, though. I'm not. That jacket, he kind of looks like a lesbian.
And I have. And I would certainly put that comment, that you said the actual truth, among perhaps one of the most foolish, if not the most foolish thing I've ever done on the platform. And I did do my best to clarify afterwards that, you know, I certainly don't mean anything anti-Semitic in that. The nature of the criticism was simply that the Jewish people have been persecuted for thousands of years. There is a natural affinity, therefore, for persecuted groups.
No. We'll figure it out, guys. Don't worry. We'll figure it out. Oh, you know what? I should get a Red Bull. That's exactly what I'm going to do. All right, I'll be right back. I've been soaking about only drinking water, too. A shame. Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I know some of y'all don't like the burps.
Has led to the funding of organizations that essentially promote any persecuted group or any group with the perception of persecution. This includes radical Islamic groups.
All right, let me go
Everyone
back.
here has seen or persecuted groups. Certainly don't mean anything anti-Semitic in that.
What about
foolish.
anti-Semitism?
And I have. And I would certainly put that comment, that you said the actual truth, among perhaps one of the most foolish, if not the most foolish thing I've ever done on the platform. And I did do my best to clarify afterwards that, I certainly don't mean anything anti-Semitic in that. The nature of the criticism was simply that the Jewish people have been persecuted for thousands of years. There is a natural affinity, therefore, for persecuted groups. This has led to the funding of organizations that essentially promote any persecuted group or any group with the perception of persecution. This includes radical Islamic groups. Everyone here has seen the massive demonstrations for Hamas in every major city in the West. That should be jarring. Well, a number of those organizations received funding from prominent people in the Jewish community. Right. They didn't expect that to happen. But if you generically didn't expect that to happen from
Okay.
in every major city in the West.
Oh, it's going backwards.
That should be jarring.
Okay, I will say one thing. As a Hispanic, the Abrahamic religions are, they don't really make a lot of sense to me. That's my Hispanic side. I can understand it from like the Slavic side, but the Abrahamic religions are, we can get into it another time, but I don't, all of them, I don't understand them.
Well, a number of those organizations received funding from prominent people in the Jewish community. Right. They didn't expect that to happen. But if you generically, without condition, sort of fund, if you fund persecuted groups, in general, some of those persecuted groups, unfortunately, want your annihilation. And what I meant by that, and I subsequently clarified, is that it's unwise to fund organizations that support groups that want your annihilation. Is this coming across clearly?
Yeah,
at
no,
this
it
point?
is. My question to you, though,
I think logically this makes a lot of sense.
Is there any part of you, just tell me what happens, though, once all this happens?
Let's say you fund a group, and that group supports Hamas, who wants you to die. Perhaps you should not fund them.
Right.
Perhaps.
But you do.
Thank you.
You do appreciate that when you wade into these very delicate waters, at these very delicate times,
Yes.
that it can create a real, I mean, as it created headlines for the past 2 weeks, and economic impact. I'm just so curious what happened in your brain when you see all this happening. Are you sitting there going, oh my God, I stepped in it, I wish I didn't do that? Are you saying, screw them, I hate these people, why are they after me?
But all of that. Yeah, there's all of that. I mean, look, I'm sorry for that tweet or post. It was foolish of me. Of the 30,000, it might be literally the worst and dumbest post that I've ever done. And I tried my best to clarify 6 ways to Sunday. But, at least I think over time it will be obvious that, in fact, far from being anti-Semitic, I'm in fact philo-Semitic. And all the evidence in my track record would support that.
Let me ask you this, though. There are people who say crazy things on X, as you know. Maybe you think they're crazy, maybe they're not.
The aspiration for X is to be the global town square. Now, if you were to walk down to, let's say, Times Square,
right?
Do you occasionally hear people saying crazy things?
Yes, but they're not. They don't have the megaphone, right? And that's the conundrum.
No,
Right? They can only say it to the 50 or 100 people that are standing there in Times Square.
They don't have a I mean, look, the joke I used to make about old Twitter was it was like giving everyone in the psych ward a megaphone. You know, I'm aware that things can get promoted that are negative beyond the sort of circle of somebody simply screaming crazy things in Times Square, which happens all the time.
That's me.
You know, it's actually pretty rare.
Like, unironically, you guys have no idea how much I'm, like, not saying every single thing that comes into my brain at any given time. I get canceled 4 to 5 to 6 times a year, you know? It's the infinite cycle of death and rebirth and all that jazz. But yeah, I'm the crazy man with the megaphone.
For something, frankly, that is hateful to be promoted. It's not that it never happens, but it's fairly rare. I mean, I would encourage people to look at, for those that use the system, when you look at the sort of the feed that you receive, how often is it hateful, and over time has it gotten more or less hateful? And I would say that if you look at the X platform today versus a year ago, I think it is actually much better. I mean, what is your personal experience?
Are you surprised?
I'm just curious. You use this?
I use the platform religiously. I
So you
will admit to
notice.
being an addict.
You would
And I
notice.
use the For You.
What would Uncle Teddy think of Elon? Y'all know Uncle Teddy, right? His uncle. And he's a Teddy. I wonder.
And I will say, now, the problem is, because I'm a journalist, I go looking for stuff.
Well, that's not our
I'm
fault.
just saying. And because I also think the algorithm, for me personally, because I'm looking for stuff, also is feeding me other things.
This is actually a challenge in that, like sometimes people will say, like, why is it showing me, posts from this person that I hate? And then we're like, well, did you interact a lot with this person that you hate? Well, yes. Well, therefore, it thinks that you want to interact more with this person that you hate. That's like a reasonable.
Let me ask this.
You kind of want to have an argument.
It's like that TikTok algorithm that shows you the same dance 50 different times, or like different people dancing the same dance with the same song, same dance routine. Like, we talk about NPCs and all that kind of stuff, but like that's like the distillation of what was already happening with that app. It's a thing.
When you tweet,
Yeah.
do you ever
Post.
or post? Let's say post. When you post,
I mean, listen, I'm open. If anyone can come up with a better word, that would be great.
When you post, though,
But the least bad word I can think of is post. Yeah.
when you post though, are you trying to rile up either a base or an audience? Do you recognize the power you have in that? And also, by the way, not just rile up one version of side of it, but also rile down, which is to say, as I said, there are people who are demonstrably anti-Semitic on the site. I get Jew boy things and all sorts of things that come my way.
Hey, for a while they thought I was Jewish, so they would, I'd get it too.
But the question is,
My name is Super Jewish.
Do you ever think to yourself, you know what, I'm going to go online and I'm going to say, these people, I condemn these people that are on my site saying these things? Because
I have said,
You say I've condemned anti-Semitism, but do you ever go?
Yeah, I said I literally posted I condemn anti-Semitism in all its forms. Like, that is a literal post that I made. I mean, I'm like, listen, if I can get out the thesaurus, if you and we could,
Let me ask you a different question.
You compose it, I'll post it.
Okay, let me ask you this. You were on a podcast about a month ago, and you said something that struck me, and it struck me as accurate. Came out of your mouth, so hopefully it is. But I'm hoping we go deep on this.
Just because it came out of my mouth does not mean it's true.
No, but
I
you said my mind is a storm. I don't think most people would want to be me. They may think they want to be me, but they don't know. They don't understand. What did you mean by that? What your mind being a storm? And I think I have known you for quite some time. I think it is a bit of a storm.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, in as much as a weather metaphor makes sense.
Most of the best people that I've ever met have like 50 different thoughts going on at the same time. Never change. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that ever.
My mind often feels like a very wild storm. I mean, I have a fountain of ideas. I mean, I have more ideas than I can possibly execute. So I have no shortage of ideas. Innovation is not the problem. Execution is the problem. I've got a million ideas. I mean, I've got an entire design for an electric supersonic vertical takeoff jet, but I just can't do that as well. I've had that for 10 years. And there's a million things.
But is your storm a happy storm?
It's the infinite cycle of death and rebirth. There's the good times and the bad times, and you have to take each one as it comes. It's not just fucking... Binaries are so boring.
No.
It's not a happy storm.
No.
Tell us about that, because I think that actually, when people try to really understand you, I think that there's a lot of this comes from some other place, and I want to talk about that. What do you think that is?
we should need like a psychiatrist catch here or something. I think to some degree I was born this way, and then I was amplified by a difficult childhood, frankly.
Maybe I was born
But I can remember
I
in the happy moments when I was a it just feels like there's just a rage of forces in my mind constantly. But now this, productively manifests itself in technology and building things for the most part. So, and I think...
I just finished okay. Before the 4 hours that I got of sleep, the reason why I got only 4 hours of sleep was because I ended up finding Wendigoon's Uncle Teddy video, which pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. He went hard with that one. It was really good. What the fuck was I saying? God. Yeah, no, really good. But like when he's like says like he uses he channels it through technology and stuff like that. I just know Uncle Teddy would have loved him.
On balance, the output has been very productive. I think the results, as we discussed earlier with SpaceX, Tesla, PayPal, which is still going today. The first internet company that I started, in fact, the first internet company I started, Zip2, was funded by a New York Times company, Hearst Knight Ridder, and in fact, we wrote some of the software for the New York Times website, and we helped bring online several hundred newspapers that previously were only in print. Now this is in the 90s, which at this point is like, I'm like a grandpa, basically. The 90s and internet feels like a Precambrian era when there were only sponges. Anyway, so I feel
Lots
like
of good stories from back then, though.
And you can also look at Tesla as being sort of many companies in one. Like our supercharging network is, if it were,
like
if the Tesla supercharging network were its own company.
Like I've said from the very beginning that he's a techno-feudal lord, and it is insane how many industries he has, how much of the logistics system and the infrastructure of the of civilization is run through him specifically. Like it's pretty crazy, man. It's pretty crazy. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna switch this out. I don't want to be wearing headphones anymore. Be right back. All right. Nice.
It would be a Fortune 500 company by itself. Just the supercharging system. We also make the cells. We build the power electronics and the powertrain from scratch. We have the most innovative structural design, the largest castings ever used. We have the best manufacturing technology at Tesla, better manufacturing technology than companies that have been doing it for 100 years. So these demons of the mind, are, for the most part, harnessed to productive ends.
Because let me ask you
But that doesn't mean that once in a while they you know, go wrong.
But, and this is a question I think a lot of people, are always trying to figure out about not just you, but sometimes themselves. Meaning, what is driving all of this? You're doing all of these things. Do you think that you would be as successful, whatever success is, if it wasn't being driven by I think that there's something you're trying to prove, either to yourself or to somebody. I don't know. We're all trying to prove something. Maybe I'm trying to prove it to my mother. I don't know.
No, if I were to describe my philosophy, it is
Yeah,
a philosophy
he got
of curiosity.
mommy issues. Me too.
I mean, I did have this existential crisis when I was around 12.
12?
About what's the meaning of life? Isn't it all pointless? Why not just commit suicide? Why exist?
Bro, honestly, he just like me for real. Like, I'm not... He just like me for real.
I read the religious texts. I read the philosophy books. Especially the German philosophy books, made me quite depressed, frankly. One should not read Schopenhauer and Nietzsche as a teenager. But then I read...
One of the things that I really is frustrating to me... I'm taking my shoes off. Sorry. Like I said, I just got home and then I started just preparing for stream and then I didn't really wind down, I guess. But yeah, one of the frustrating things to me as someone that grew up in poverty and stuff like that is there's this one quote. Let me see if I can find it. I'm somehow less interested in the weight and convolutions of Einstein's brain than in the near certainty that people of equal talent have lived and died in cotton fields and sweatshops. That quote, to me, hits... I don't regret anything that I've done in my life. I think that that's a useless emotion. However... it's very frustrating to think of a concept or something like that and then finding out that there's been someone that's already written that down 400 years ago or something like that. So it's not that I can't understand the concepts, it's just that I was never able to put the time in to actually be able to think about these things, and because, we're busy surviving. So... When he says these things, he went through an existential crisis at 12 and stuff like that, I was reading Dawkins and listening to, Hitchens and all that kind of stuff, but I know that, in, private schools and stuff like that, their curriculum is so much more advanced, and it seems like a missed opportunity. It seems like there's a gap. And if you're in poverty, you're never going to know what you're really capable of because of that, I guess, Or it'll just take longer. Because let's say I'm 28 right now, and I think I have a pretty good idea as to how things function. But I'm trying to figure this shit out on my own, So it's a harder... It's an uphill battle. And it's not that we're not going to make it, but it's an uphill battle. Whereas... he's over here crying about the storm in his head and all that kind of stuff. Which, like I said, storms are good. They're my favorite type of people, is someone that is just has a million ideas. But yeah, something to think about.
Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is a book on philosophy in the form of humor. And the point that Adams was making there was that we don't actually know what questions to ask. That's why he said that, the answer is 42. Basically, Earth's a giant computer, and it came up with the answer 42. But then to actually figure out what the question is, that's the actual hard part. I think this is generally true also in physics. At the point at which you can properly frame the question, the answer is actually the easy part. So my motivation then was that, well, my life is finite, really a flash in the pan on a galactic time scale. But if we can expand the scope and scale of consciousness, then we are better able to figure out what questions to ask about the answer that is the universe. And maybe we can find out the meaning of life, or even what the right question to ask is.
I think a good question to ask is, are humans conscious? I think that's a very, very interesting question that could lead down a very, very interesting discussion.
You know, where did we come from? Where are we going? Where are the aliens? Are there aliens? And, you know, these questions, you know, and is there new physics to discover? Or is this, because there seems to be some real questions around dark matter and
New
dark
physics,
energy.
let's go. I don't believe in dark matter.
The purpose of SpaceX is to extend life beyond Earth on a sustained basis, so that we can at least pass one of the Fermi great filters, which is that of being a single planet civilization. If we are a single planet civilization, then we are simply waiting around for some extinction event, whether that is man-made or natural. But if you're a single planet civilization, eventually you will, something will happen to that planet and you will die. If you're a multi-planet civilization, you will live much longer. Also, a multi-planet civilization that's the natural stepping stone to being a multi-stellar civilization and being out there among the stars. So, you know, this
Okay, he can't say that that's what he's working towards when he's still only focusing on combustion engines. Like, he can talk, he's talking about all this new physics as if on debating on whether we should work on new physics, but he's only working with combustion engines. He's not focusing on, if he really wanted to make us interstellar, combustion is not going to get us there, you know?
This is not simply a defensive motivation, but it is also one that, you know, that gives meaning, man's search for meaning.
Can I ask you,
but let me finish this philosophy point, even though it may seem rather esoteric. It may resonate with a few people.
Love esoteric.
We must get past this Fermi filter of being this great filter of being a single planet civilization. And if we do that, we'll more likely to understand the nature of the universe and what questions to ask. If you're a believer in the philosophy of curiosity, then I think you should support this ambition. But it's more, being a multi-planet species is more than simply.
You know what I need? I need a press X to doubt emote. That's gonna be my first emote. It's press X to doubt, because we like to question things here.
You know, life insurance for life collectively. That's a defensive reason, but I think also that life has to be more than simply solving one sad problem after another. You know, there have to be reasons where you wake up in the morning and you're happy to be alive. There have to be reasons that you have to say, why are you excited about the future? Like, what gives you hope? And if you aren't sure, ask your kids. And I think the idea of us being a spacefaring civilization and being out there among the stars is incredibly inspiring and exciting and something to look forward to.
We should maybe get people to focus on their own societies first. It's hard to get people to look at a long time trajectory as to where we want to go as far as a civilization, because we are a speck of dust. Like, we live on a speck of dust, and we do need to get to interplanetary, interstellar, blah, 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 blah. But in order to do that, the amount of engineers, the amount of brain power, all that kind of stuff, we're not even... I think we need to be able to focus inward, you know? Like be able to take care of one another. Like, as far as, like, the entire world goes, as much as... The propaganda against Musk will continue. CIA and Democrat Party want their Twitter back. I don't think. I mean, like, I don't think it's, like, not warranted, you know? Like, he has been very overt with his
with his messaging. You know, he even said himself that that tweet was probably the worst thing that he's ever done. As far as like all the tweets that he's posted, and I can't disagree. You know, he did. He do be saying a lot of shit. You know, but I don't know if how long you've been here, but I was saying earlier how I don't think X is gonna go down because it's a private company. It's been a private company for a year, and he doesn't need investors. He can just be himself right there, you know. So like it can just be his own little like pet project, and I think that's what frustrates the government. I think that the what was the Twitter files like kind of showed how things like operate, but I don't necessarily think that he's much of a threat to the nation. You know, I think that he's I don't know. I don't like feudal lords. I don't like. I think he has entirely too much power. And I am on the left. I am a communist, so I don't know. It's a frustrating world we live in. I I'm not like the thing is like I don't want to make every single time that I'm streaming be like say the same things over. You know, oh the wealthy are in power, yada yada yada. I want to critically analyze everything. So I don't know what that has to do with anything, brother. I'm not touching that at all. But I lost my train of thought. Nice. All right, I'm gonna continue.
And there need to be such things in the world.
Let me ask you a different question about confidence. We were having a conversation here earlier about people and where people get their confidence from. Some people have great insecurity. Other people have great confidence. And I was thinking about you because you have a very interesting history where people have told you over and over again that you're wrong.
Well, sometimes they're right.
Well, sometimes they are, but I would say that when it comes to Tesla, when it came to SpaceX, people told you that you were crazy, you were out of your mind, this was never going to happen, this was never going to work. And so what I'm going to ask you this, though, is now, when people say you're wrong, this isn't right, do you look at that and say, you know what, that's like a red flag for me because, you know, I've been told so often that I'm wrong that I know that I know I'm right because I've had that experience. Or are there people in your life when they say, you know what, Elon, this is not right? Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think
I'll say this much. I think that Mossad probably has a lot of power, like entirely a lot of power. Like I think that I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed that Epstein had ties to Mossad, so I think that that's something to keep into account. But I don't feel comfortable putting all Jews in that, especially because I've been studying this for a while now, and when we talk about liberation movements, like of a people's of whatever, I think that Jews are part of that. Study like anthropology, history, sociology, just kind of like seeing like the direction of pretty much everything. The Exodus series in the Bible, when Moses like frees himself from the Pharaoh and all that kind of stuff. I think that I don't feel comfortable saying that all Jews are the ones that have too much power because to that like they've technically been in their own type of way some sort of liberation movement, you know, and it's complicated. Yeah, but like it's I like when someone says the Jews, like I don't feel comfortable with that, you know, like I just not a fan, you know, especially because of how high the tensions are right now with everything. So but I do think that intelligence agencies like CIA, Mossad, FBI, those probably do have a lot of power, way more than they should.
What you're trying to say is that, do I at this point think because I've been right so many times when others have said I'm wrong, that now I perhaps believe I'm right when in fact I'm wrong?
You did very well. What do you think?
No, I'm right. Yeah, no, look, here's the thing. Physics is unforgiving. Physics is unforgiving. So, I mean, I have, these various little sayings I've come up with, that physics is the law and everything else is a recommendation.
Right.
In the sense that you can break any law made by humans, but try breaking a law made by physics. That's much more difficult. So if you are wrong and persist in being wrong, the rockets will blow up and the cars will fail. Right. So this is, we're not trying to figure out what flavor of ice cream is the best flavor of ice cream.
Right.
Like, if there's 1,000 things that can happen on a rocket flight, and only one of them gets the rocket to orbit. And so being wrong results in failure when dealing with physical objects.
But that's the interesting part. So now you've built these great companies that physically, the physics of them are enormously successful. So successful, arguably, that you have leverage over everybody else, right? Nobody else can do Starlink. Nobody else can get nobody else can get the rockets in space yet. Amazon and Jeff Bezos are trying, but they haven't yet.
I hope he does.
You hope he does?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think, but I actually agree with a lot of Jeff's motivations. I mean, I think, he's, so let me put it this way. If there was a button I could press that would delete...
I've been trying to avoid this conflict entirely. Okay, it breaks my heart. I've never stopped posting about Palestine ever. Like I'm pretty sure I try not to fill my wall up. I'll like a whole bunch of things on my X, but I will not really post a lot of things on my actual wall. Like a week or two before Israel started bombing Palestine, Gaza, I was posting about it, and I do believe that. Here's my opinion on it. I think that both ethnic groups have claims to the land. They've been there the entire time, both of them. And I think that where Israel fucks up is that they've forgotten they've forgotten their roots. They created a nation instead of waiting for God to grant them one, and they're using oppression to basically. They've now become the oppressors, and it's I can't. There's no moral high ground there, you know. They're in a sick nexus with Americans. Let me go to the restroom real quick. I'll be right back, okay? God damn, it feels like I had a piss since before I started the stream. The one thing I'll say about that is I think that America is using Israel as like a wedge to be able to instill democracies within the Arab states. But this is, we go back to my idea that I don't understand Abrahamic religions. Like, to me, they're all brothers. Like, they're all brothers in blood, I guess. I think that all Abrahamic religions are basically just an effect of PTSD from the massive extinction event that was the Younger Dryas. If that's been confirmed or not, I'm not sure. But yeah. The U.S. does not care about democracy. The opposite, in fact. I disagree with that. I think that the concept of what the United States was created upon when George Washington passed down his presidency to the next president instead of becoming a monarch. I think that's something that is very valuable, and I think that that's somewhat of a democracy, you know? What is turned into now is pretty gross, I feel like. I had this thought a while back, and or I read it somewhere, I don't remember. But it was, did the CIA coup the U.S. government when they assassinated JFK? That is a very interesting thing to me, you know? Fresh out of high school, thank you. No, I'm 30. 1 or 2 years. I don't know what that means. You missed a whole bunch, man. I was explaining how things that I talk about have been written by like I take it as a compliment. That means that when I'm 40, I'm gonna look 30. But yeah. All right, I'm gonna continue this. I'm tired.
Blue Origin, I wouldn't press it. So I think it's good that he's spending money on making rockets too. It's just perhaps he spend more time on it, but it's up to him. I should make a point here. So nothing any of my companies have done has been to stifle competition. In fact, we've done the opposite. So at Tesla, we have open sourced our patents. Anyone can use our patents for free. How many companies do you know who've done that?
That's cool.
Can you name one? I can't. At SpaceX, we don't use patents. So I mean, once in a while we'll file a patent just so some patent troll doesn't cause trouble. But we're not stopping any. We've done nothing anti-competitive. We've done nothing to stop our
I'm not suggesting you are at all.
No, I just want to clarify for the audience because some companies have done anti-competitive things. I think
What
the
date
strange
is
thing,
this?
or
I
the
think
unusual
this came
thing
out yesterday.
about SpaceX and Tesla is that we've done things that have helped our competition. So at Tesla, we have made our supercharger system open access. We've made our charger technology available for free to the other manufacturers.
The reason
No walled garden. We could have put a wall up, but instead we invited them in.
The reason I mention this, though, is because you've had this success in the physics world, you now have these very difficult decisions that have huge impacts on the world that are not physical decisions at all. They're decisions of the mind. They're decisions that you and others have to make, and there's a question whether you should be making these decisions at all. And I think about it in the context of Starlink. Obviously, there was the report about how it's being used in Ukraine.
Wait. Okay, you distracted me, but I had a thing.
Starlink, obviously, should be making these decisions at all. And I think about.
Oh yeah. One of the biggest pieces of advice that I tell my little brother is never stop creating. When this guy talks about things being in the mind instead of being in the real world is created by the mind. And it's important to understand that. It's important to understand that to create something is what it's so human. It's so he I don't know. He seems so hand wavy with it, but like never stop creating. Never stop having 50,000 thoughts at the same time. Never stop allowing creativity to be there. Because if you don't, then you just become a robot. And we don't want to just become robots. We want to be. This is his Keep X profitable tour. I don't think that it's gonna go down, and I don't think he needs advertisers. I think this is just his little toy. He already bought it. Like it's a sunk cost. Like outside of the maintenance fees for it, but that's what minuscule in comparison to his wealth. Like to me, this is just. It is.
In the context of Starlink, obviously there was the report about how it's being used in Ukraine and the Russia war. There's questions about Taiwan, whether Taiwan should use it or will use it. I believe they're not right now because they're worried that at some point maybe the Chinese will tell you that you have to, they have leverage over you and you're going to have to turn that off, right? I mean, these are very difficult decisions, and I'm so curious how you think about that. And not just the decisions, the fact that you have that power.
I think it's important for the audience to understand that the reason I have these powers is not because of some anti-competitive actions. It's simply because we've executed very well.
Oh, I'm not dismissing that. I think there are so many people, by the way, who are huge supporters of what you've created.
There are other satellites out there.
And tons and tons and tons of government contracts. Don't never ever forget about nepotism. Okay, it's these people will say that they got where they were just through the laurels of what they did, and while it is impressive, he was also born with a silver spoon. And I do think he's very smart, though. I think he's extremely smart, but in a dumb way, kind of like me. Palestinian oppressors have immense power. Let's see if they can kill Twitter. Come on, Musk. Wasn't he just in Palestine? Like they gave him like a whole tour and stuff. Were they glazing him up? I feel like they were glazing him up. I don't know if they would. I don't think they have the power to kill Twitter. They do have a lot of power, but like they'd have to hack something or make it illegal within the United States or something along those lines. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like court of public opinion, right? I don't know. I'm never gonna finish this fucking video.
There,
But they're not as good as yours, and
right.
And we can say that maybe make the same argument of cars and everything else. Yeah. But as a result, that gives you enormous leverage, right?
Okay.
I mean, with the exception of by the way, these advertisers who aren't on X. In every other instance, everybody.
Now, why the fuck was he wearing that steel plate? He didn't go to Gaza or the West Bank. All right.
Needs you.
Well, I mean, nobody's.
That was a drippy pic, though. I'm not gonna lie. That man was stunting.
I mean, they use our product if it's better, then use somebody else's product if the other product's better.
And I accept that. And maybe one day somebody else will create a better product.
Is it like, how is it a bad thing to make better products than other companies?
Well, and I want to just go back to the Starlink piece of it, though, because that has sort of a geopolitical ramification in terms of your power and how you think about that specific power, and then the power that the U.S. government might have.
It's so okay. That the dialectics of this is so insane to me. Like we go from monarchs that rule like territories to someone to like faux democracies to through just like sheer force of will and putting his ideas out into the world, we now have an entire grid that covers the entirety of the world, and he has control over that de facto gives him like this guy is saying an immense amount of geopolitical power. That's crazy to me. I want to see how he responds.
have either over you or not over you, the power the Chinese government might have over you or not over you, and how those things get used.
I mean, what are you suggesting?
I'm asking the question around this very idea of how these satellites are going to be used, whether you think that you should have control of them, whether the government should have control of them.
Do you trust the government?
Well, there's a lot of people who don't trust the government.
Exactly.
But then this goes back to the trust of you, right?
I mean, like I said, we're not the only company who has communication satellites. Our satellites are just much better than theirs. So it's not like we have a monopoly.
Right.
Do
you feel like anybody has
product? It's not like.
Do you feel anybody has leverage over you?
He has a pretty big monopoly.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, if we make bad products that people don't want to use, then the users will vote with their resources and use something else.
Let me pivot the conversation for a second.
I mean, certainly, my company's overseen by regulators, and while since SpaceX, Starlink, Tesla are overseen by, cumulatively over 100 regulators, in actually more than that, a few hundred regulators.
Not the U.S. government. What?
We're in
What about the U.S. government?
55 countries. If you sum up all the times that I had an argument with regulators, of hundreds of regulators over decades, it can sound really terrible, except when they forgot to mention that there were 10 million regulations we complied with and only 5 that I disagreed with. But they were still the 5. And it sounds like, wow, this guy's a real maverick. I'm like, yeah, but what about the 10 million we complied with?
One related thing on this, and the leverage of countries and things over you, and regulators. X is this free speech platform. You do business in China, lots of business in China. That's an important part of.
They co-sign evil motives to China and whatever other governments he mentioned, but not the U.S. Well, if anything, I feel like he's more into the U.S. itself. Yeah, I agree with that.
Your business, I imagine.
Well, not SpaceX.
How do you think about the leverage that the Chinese have over you? And do they have leverage over you? And how do you feel about, some people would say, is it hypocritical for you to be doing business in China, or frankly in other countries as it relates to X and other things, that don't follow this free speech path that you have espoused?
The best that the X platform can do is adhere to the laws of any given country. Do you think there's something more we could do than that?
I think it would be very hard, but I just wonder, given the sort of strong philosophical approach that you've been vocal about, whether you say to yourself, maybe I shouldn't be doing business in that country.
Do you think it's possible for a country to go to war with a person? Like, just send, 1 million people to, someone's house? That'd be funny. He pisses off China and is war. Cause he technically has, more power than, a nation. He's, a nation-level character. So, and this is why I'm a leftist, because I believe that these types of conversations, the people that are in power, that are making deals behind closed doors, don't take into account people like you and I. And I think it's important that we have a seat at the table. I think that we need professional leftists that understand the theory and understand what it means to advocate for the people of a nation properly. And I think that these people leave that by the wayside. They don't like trade. I think he's gonna say something about trade unions and stuff like that. And I just. I don't know. Yep. Yeah, but if this interview was being done in China, they would say the same thing. They would say, aren't you giving too much power to the U.S. government? Aren't you giving too much power to the what was that one? I think Iran. that he was like having problems with or something like that, and then he like completely caved on demands. Don't you think that you're giving too much power to those people? Like it's a bias within people that live in that country. You know, I don't really fault people for that. Because you're gonna advocate for your country, you know, especially if you want it to succeed.
Well, first of all, Starlink and SpaceX are no business in China whatsoever. Tesla has one of four vehicle factories in China, and China is, I don't know, a quarter of our market or something like that. So it's a quarter of the market of one company. The same is true, by the way, of all the other car companies. They also have something on that order of a quarter of their sales in China. So if that's a problem for Tesla, it's a problem for every car company. I think one has to be careful about not conflating the various companies, because I can only do things that are within the bounds of the law. I cannot do beyond that. My aspiration is to do as much good as possible and to be as productive as possible within the bounds of what is legal. More than that, I cannot do.
I want to pivot and talk about AI for a moment. We had Jensen Huang here, who's a big fan of yours, as you know.
Yeah, Jensen's awesome.
Talked about bringing you the first box, by the way,
yes.
With Ilya, interestingly enough.
Yes.
Back in 2016, I think.
There's a video of Jensen and me unpacking the first AI computer at OpenAI.
So I'm so curious what you think of what's just happened over the past 2 weeks. While you were dealing with this other series of headlines, there was a whole other series of headlines at OpenAI. What did you think?
The Sam Altman? No, not yes. Sam Altman?
You founded it, co-founded.
Co-founded, yeah. The whole arc of OpenAI, frankly, is a little troubling, because the reason for starting OpenAI was to create a counterweight to Google and DeepMind, which at the time had 2/3 of all AI talent and basically infinite money and compute, and there was no counterweight. It was unipolar world. And Larry and Paige and I used to be very close friends, and I would stay at his house, and I would talk to Larry into the late hours of the night about AI safety. And it became apparent to me that Larry did not care about AI safety. I think perhaps the thing that gave it away was when he called me a speciesist for being pro-humanity. As in, like a racist, but for species. So I'm like, wait a second, what side are you on, Larry? And then I'm like, okay, listen, this guy's calling me a speciesist. He doesn't care about AI safety. We've got to have some counterpoint here, because this seems like we could be, this is no good. So OpenAI was actually started, and it was meant to be open source. I named it OpenAI after open source. It is in fact closed source, super closed. It should be renamed super closed source for maximum profit AI. So, because this is what it actually is. Fate loves irony. In fact, a friend of mine says like the way to predict outcomes is the most ironic outcome is the most. It's like this Occam's razor, like the simplest sort of explanation is most likely. And my friend Jonah's view is that the most ironic outcome is the most likely. And that's what's happened with OpenAI. It's gone from an open source foundation, a 501(c)(3), to suddenly it's like a $90 billion for-profit corporation with closed source. So I don't know how you go from here to there.
Dude, have you seen the search engine for the photos? I was trying to find I was doing some research into like Ukraine and stuff, like the proto-Ukrainian peoples and stuff, and apparently there's this god called the Yarilo, and I was like trying to find some stuff on him, and like all of the pictures were AI generated. It was a bit sad. I wanted to see some like genuine depictions of him from like that time. The species thing, I have issues with it, just because I think that I want people to be educated. I don't want people to be driven, cognitively driven by certain things. I think media literacy is important for that and all that kind of stuff, but I think that once AI is introduced, as long as humans are going to be in charge of that, it's going to cognitively drive people into a very, very... I have not seen Ukraine on Fire. I should watch that. shit, what the fuck was I saying? I don't think people need to be cognitively driven by other humans, especially people that don't really like. If I think that a human-driven AI system is at best maintaining where we're at, and at worst very destructive to a nation. The way people will just become like almost automatons. I think that that's not good. Yeah, I'll check it out. I'll check it out. So like I personally think that if we were to just kind of like set the AI, let it do all of the logistics issues, then we would have more time for human flourishing and actually understanding what it means to be a human. I'm a species too, but in a completely opposite way. I think that human-driven AIs are going to turn us into automatons. Yeah. Yeah, it's the humans the problem. I did hear that Kaczynski's books are worth a read, though, from Carlson and others. Yeah, I think I'm going to do a deep dive into Kaczynski and try to see where he's going, what his thought processes are. The eugenics thing is a little worrying, but yeah, I think I'm going to like do a deep dive on him. The Wendigo video was really, really good. So. Wendigoon? He's a gooner.
That seems like I don't know how you get. I don't know. Is this legal?
So as you saw Sam Altman get ousted by somebody you know, Ilya, and Ilya was a friend of yours.
Yes.
You brought him there. Your relationship with Larry Page effectively broke down over you recruiting him away. I think
that's correct. That was the fight. That was the Larry refused to be friends with me after I recruited Ilya.
And so here's Ilya apparently saying something is very wrong.
I think we should be concerned about this because I think Ilya actually has a strong moral compass. He thinks about, he really sweats it over questions of what is right. And if Ilya felt strongly enough to want to, fire Sam, well, I think the world should know what was that reason.
Have you talked to him?
I've reached out, but he doesn't want to talk to anyone.
Have you talked to other people behind the scenes as this is all happening?
I've talked to a lot of people. I've not found anyone who knows why. Have you?
I think we are all still trying to find out.
I mean, look, one of two things is either it was a serious thing, and we should know what it is, or it was not a serious thing, and then the board should resign.
What do you think of Sam Altman?
I've mixed.
Sam Altman has always given me like weird vibes. I like to think that I'm relatively media literate. So whenever I would see like an interview with him, like it gave me really weird vibes. The way that he would talk, the way that he would like talk about like cognitively driving, making sure that the AIs were like censored in specific ways and all that kind of stuff, is not. I'm not a super huge fan of it. Yeah, he gave me weird vibes. Like I said, yeah.
Feelings about Sam. I do.
I'm like cold, but like
the ring
not
of
at
power,
the same time.
Can corrupt. And this is the ring of power. So, I don't know. I want to know why Ilya felt so strongly as to fire Sam. This sounds like a serious thing. I don't think it was trivial. And I'm quite concerned that there's some, dangerous element of AI that they've
discovered.
Created. Yes.
You think they've discovered something?
By the way, if you want to give me a follow, I would love you forever.
Where are you with your own AI?
Oh, and like the stream.
Relative to where you think OpenAI is, where you think Google is, where you think the others are.
I mean, on the AI front, I'm in somewhat of a quandary here because I've thought AI could be something that would change the world in a significant way since I was in college. I mean, like 30 years ago. Well, the reason I didn't go build AI right from the get-go was because I was uncertain about which edge of the double-edged sword would be sharper, the good edge or the bad edge. So I held off on doing anything on AI. I could have created, I think, the leading AI company, and kind of OpenAI actually kind of is that, because I was just uncertain if you make this magic genie, what will happen? Whereas I think building sustainable energy technology is much more of a single-edged sword that is single-edged good. Making like multiplanetary, I think single-edged good. Starlink mostly single-edged
Nothing is
good.
ever
Giving
single-edged.
people better connectivity. People that don't have connectivity or it's too expensive, I think is very much a good thing. Starlink was instrumental, by the way, in halting the Russian advance. The Ukrainians said so. I think but with AI, you've got the magic genie problem. You may think you want a magic genie, but once that genie's out of the bottle, it's hard to say what happens.
How far are we away from that genie being out of the bottle, you think? We think it's already out?
And the genie is certainly poking its head out.
The AGI, the idea of artificial general intelligence, given what you now are...
I think AGI is years, decades away. Decades. I don't think we're anywhere near AGI at all.
Working on yourself, and you know how easy or hard it is to train, to create the inferences, to create the weights. I hope I'm not getting too far in the weeds of just how this works, but those are the basics behind the software end of this.
It's funny, all these weights, they're just basically numbers in a comma-separated value file. And that's our digital god, a CSV file. Not that funny. But that's kind of literally what it is. So I think it's coming pretty fast,
Is that, you famously have admitted to overstating how quickly things will happen, but how quickly do you think this will happen?
If you say smarter than the smartest human at anything,
Yep.
it may not be then quite smarter than all humans, all machine-augmented humans, because people have got computers and stuff. There's a higher bar. But if you say smarter than any,
Nice.
Can write as good a novel as, say, J.K. Rowling.
That's actually a great distinction. That's I really like that. That is a very good point. But I do have like one thing that I've thought about with AI is if it's able to simulate a brain, like just the brain itself, like it's able to simulate like all the gray matter, all the synapses, everything. I think once it does that, I think that we're closer to AGI than, or some sort of like consciousness or something. I don't know. Like if you can simulate that brain, I think. What would that give room for creativity within the system, or something along those lines? I don't know, but it's something that I've thought about.
Or discover new physics or invent new technology. I would say that we are less than 3 years from that point.
Let me ask you a question about XAI and what you're doing. And because there's an interesting thing that's different, I think, about what you have relative to some of the others, which is you have data, you have information, you have all of the stuff that...
How does the sound on this, by the way? Should I turn it down, or is it good? I remember the other day it was extremely loud when I went back and watched it, so I'm not sure.
Everybody in here has put on the platform to sort through. And I don't know if everybody realized that initially. What is the value of that?
Wait, what?
You have relative to some of the others, which is you have data, you have information, you have all of the stuff that everybody in here has put on the platform to sort through. And I don't know if everybody realized that initially. What is the value of that?
Dude, I got my my Spotify Wrapped. Well, YouTube Wrapped. I don't listen to Spotify. And it gave me a mood board for the entire year, and it snatched my wig, basically. It was I got called the fuck out. All right. Everyone sounds low to you? shit.
Yeah, I mean, data is very important. You could say data is probably more valuable than gold.
But then maybe you have the gold in X in a different way. In a way, again, that I don't know if the public appreciates what that means.
Yes, X might be the
better?
single best source of data. I mean, it is, there are more, links that go to, people click on more links to X than anything else on Earth. Sometimes people think Facebook or Instagram is a bigger thing, but actually there are more links to X than anything. There's public information, you can Google it.
Okay, let me ask you
So it is where you would find what is happening right now on Earth at any given point in time. The whole OpenAI drama played out, in fact, on the X platform. So it is one of the, it's not, Google certainly has a massive amount of data, so does Microsoft. So it's not like, but it is one of the best sources of data.
Can I ask you an interesting IP issue, which I think is actually something I can say as somebody who's in the creator business and journalistic business and whatnot, where I care about copyright. So one of the things about training on data has been this idea that you're not going to train, or that these things are not being trained on people's copyrighted information. Historically, that's been the concept.
Yeah, that's a huge lie.
Say that again?
Yes, these AIs are all trained on copyrighted data, obviously.
So you think it's a lie when OpenAI says that this is not, none of these guys say they're training on copyrighted data?
Oh, that's a lie.
It's a lie,
yeah,
straight up.
It's a straight up lie.
Okay.
100%. So obviously it's been trained on copyrighted data.
Okay, so let me ask you a second question, which is, all of the people who have been uploading...
I mean, it's like one every minute. Yeah.
All of the people who have been uploading articles, the best quotes from different articles, videos, to X. All of that can be trained on. And it's interesting because people put all of that there, and those quotes have historically been considered fair use, right? People are putting those quotes up there. And individually, on a fair use basis, you'd say, okay, that makes sense. But now there are people who do threads, and by the way, there may be multiple people who've done an article that has 1,000 words. Technically, all 1,000 words could have made it onto X somehow. And effectively, now you have this remarkable repository. And I wonder how you think about that, again, and how you think the creative community and those who were the original IP owners should think about that.
I don't know, except to say that by the time these lawsuits are decided, we'll have Digital God. So ask Digital God at that point. These lawsuits won't be decided before, on a time frame that is relevant.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think we live, there's that,
I will say one thing that I think that social medias should be socialized, nationalized, because like each post is technically like labor that you're giving, like value that you're giving to that company, and their like monetization system is pretty trash. Like you get copyrighted once and you're fucking you're cooked, bro. You're fucking cooked. Yeah, I haven't been able to make money off of my shit for like a year now. And I post, like they keep saying like you're getting traction, keep posting, and I'm like, but yeah, I think it should be nationalized. I think that he has a very good point right there with the data and everything. Yeah.
I don't know if it's actually a real Chinese saying or not, but may you live in interesting times. Right. It's apparently not a good thing. But I would prefer to, personally, I would prefer to live in interesting times. And we live in the most interesting of times. I think, for a while there, I was like really getting demotivated and losing sleep over the threat of AI danger. And then I finally sort of became fatalistic about it and said, well, even if I knew annihilation was certain, would I choose to be alive at that time or not? And I said I probably would choose to be alive at that time because it's the most interesting thing, even if there's nothing I could do about it. So then basically sort of a fatalistic resignation helped me sleep at night because I was having trouble sleeping at night because of AI danger. Now, what to do about it? I mean, I've been the biggest, the one banging the drum the hardest, by far the longest, or at least one of the longest for AI danger. And these regulatory things that are happening, the single biggest reason they're happening is because of me.
Do you think they're ever going to get their arms around it? We talked to the vice president this afternoon. She said she wants to regulate it. People have been trying to regulate social media for years and have done nothing, effectively.
Well, there's regulation around anything which is like a physical danger or a danger to the public. So like cars are heavily regulated, communications are heavily regulated, rockets and aircraft are heavily regulated. The general philosophy about regulation is that when something is a danger to the public, that there needs to be some government oversight. So I think, in my view, AI is more dangerous than nuclear bombs. And we regulate nuclear bombs. You can't just go make a nuclear bomb in your backyard. I think we should have some kind of regulation with AI. Now, this tends to cause the AI accelerationists to get up in arms because they think AI is sort of heaven,
Present.
basically.
But you typically don't like regulation. You've pushed back on regulators for the most part in the world of Tesla and the way, so many.
Well, that's the monopolistic model right there. Is no regulation, no regulation, no regulation. Once they've been able to capture that industry, that niche, that's when they're okay with the regulation, because it just makes more blocks for people to be able to catch up to whatever they're doing. So that's him being a coward in that sense, you know. I don't like. Well, yeah, I guess he just called me out as an AI accelerationist, but I don't agree with that at all.
Many instances where we read articles about you pushing back on the regulators. I'm so curious why, in this instance, now you own one of these businesses.
As I said a moment ago, one should not take what is viewed in the media as being the whole picture. There are literally hundreds. This is probably not an exaggeration.
Don't I know?
So there are probably 100 million regulations that my companies comply with, and there are probably 5 that we don't. And if we disagree with some of those regulations, it's because we think the regulation that is meant to do good doesn't actually do good.
But that's an interesting thing.
Defying regulations for
but the question is, if there are laws and rules, whether the idea is that you're making the decision that the law and the rule shouldn't be the law and the rule, and then, right? Isn't?
No, I'm saying you're fundamentally mistaken, and it should be obvious that you're mistaken. My company's automotive is heavily regulated. We would not be allowed to put cars on the road if we did not comply with this vast body of regulation. Now, you could fill up this stage with literally, 6 foot high, with the regulations that you have to comply with to make a car.
Right.
Would make you could have a room full of phone books. That's how big the regulations are. And if you don't comply with all of those, you can't sell the car. And if we don't comply with all the regulations for rockets or for Starlink, they shut us down. So in fact, I am incredibly compliant with regulations. Now, once in a while, there'll be something that I disagree with. The reason I would disagree.
The argument for why AI is bad is because it breeds alienation, and it kind of makes you an automaton within a system that is purely technology based, as opposed to a society that is based on being itself. So that would be the argument as to why AI is bad. But I think that it's not a linear argument. I think it's more of like a conservative one. Can't. Cat? Hello? Can you hear me? Cat. The reason why I hope you can hear me. I'm gonna say it again. Okay, the reason why AI is bad the argument for why AI would be considered bad is because it breeds alienation within a system. It could potentially turn us into automatons within a system that are cognitively driven, without us ever knowing, ever, and it's not great to not be able to have like full freedom of yourself. I think argument against that would be that I think that we put too much credence into the species itself. Um, like I don't like human supremacists, but I do like people that advocate for humanity. You know, I think that we're building something like from the very first tools that we use, like stones and everything, to what we're building now, towards one day AGI, like he said, like an AI god or something like that. I think that that is something that wants to be brought forth. Um, there definitely is an argument for why AI is bad. Um, we focus too much on technology. We only care for advancement. I think it like goes hand in hand with capitalism almost. How it's like an ever growing system that's like fighting for its life every step of the way. Um, in the same way that like technology could be seen as like an arm of that, or some, or in some sense. Um, yeah. Personally, I want the AI God. I think that if we do it right, if we are able to have, the thing is that nations need control of their people so much that if you don't have an educated populace beforehand, if you don't have a political party that can have a seat at the table and say, hey, whoa, 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 it can get relatively bad without people ever knowing. They'll have no freedom and they just won't know. And it's not great. It's not great.
Agree with it is because I think the regulation in that particular case, in that rare case, does not serve the public good, and therefore I think it is my obligation to object to a regulation that is meant to serve the public good if it doesn't. That's the only time I object, not because I seek to object. In fact, I'm incredibly rule following.
Let me ask you a separate question, a social media related question. We've been talking about TikTok today, ahead of the election.
Sure. TikTok is...
What do you think of TikTok? Do you think it's a national security threat?
I don't use TikTok.
Say that again? You don't?
I don't personally use it.
He's treading
But
so
for people
carefully
that, for teenagers and people in their 20s, they seem almost religiously addicted to TikTok. Some people will watch TikTok for like 2 hours a day. I stopped using TikTok when I felt the AI probing my mind, and it made me uncomfortable. So I stopped using it.
But that's
And in terms of anti-Semitic content,
like, you ever have a thought of like something that you might want, or have like a conversation with someone about something that you might want, and then like you open up Facebook, and then just right there is like what you were talking about. It's like, buy this. Like, oh, you're listening to my conversations. That's cool. Not a huge fan of that. What else? I was gonna say something else.
I mean, TikTok is rife with that. It has the most viral anti-Semitic content by far.
But do you think the Chinese government is using it to manipulate the minds of Americans?
No.
Is that something that you think we should worry about? I mean, you have different states that are trying to ban it.
I don't think this is some Chinese government plot. But it is... The TikTok algorithm is...
I agree. I don't think it's a Chinese government plot. I think that it's something like, I think it's cultural. I think that what we focus on and what we ask our children to focus on is completely... I think we put a lot of we put a lot of weight into fun. I think that goes above like everything, and for especially for our children. And I think that that's not the best. That's just me. It's like when your homie is like, I hate TikTok. All it does is show you booties and half naked girls, and you're like, dude, it's an algorithm. This is what you're into. This is like it's gonna show you what you're into. It's a feedback loop. So yeah. I think we need to fix our culture here a lot. I think that we need to allow people to critically think. You know, like that's why I try to give some sort of balanced reading to both sides, because I want people to learn how to critically think. Why is he coming up with this argument? Why is he coming up with this argument? Instead of just like hand waving everything, focusing on like Schadenfreude and all that kind of stuff.
Entirely AI powered. So it is really just trying to find the most viral thing possible. It's what is going to keep you glued to the screen. Right? That's it. Now, on sheer numbers, there are on the order of 2 billion Muslims in the world, and I think much smaller number of Jewish people. 20 million, something? Many orders of magnitude fewer. So if you just look at content production, just on sheer numbers basis, this is going to be overwhelmingly anti-Semitic.
Let me ask you a political question. And I've been trying to square this one in my head for a long time.
Yeah.
In the last 2 or 3 years, you have moved decidedly to the right, I think.
Have I?
Well, we can discuss this. I think that you have been espousing and promoting a number of Republican candidates.
I think he's just been going mask off. Personally. I think that most capitalists, even liberals, secretly vote Republican because it's in their best interest. They usually are for like deregulation and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think that he's just now moved to the right.
Candidates and others, you've been very frustrated with the Biden administration over, I think, unions and feeling like they did not respect what you've created.
Well, I mean, without any, doing nothing to provoke the Biden administration, they held an electric vehicle summit at the White House and specifically refused to let Tesla.
Can you hear me, by the way? I'm, the last thing you said was, can hear you, and then cats. So that's either can't hear you or you can hear me. Yeah.
Tesla attend. This was in the first 6 months of the administration. And we inquired, we literally make more electric cars than everyone else combined. Why are we not allowed? Why are you only letting Ford, GM, Chrysler, and UAW, and you're specifically disallowing us from the EV summit at the White House? We'd done nothing to provoke them. Then Biden went on to add insult to injury and publicly said that GM was leading the electric car revolution. This was in the same quarter that Tesla made 300,000 electric cars and GM made 26. Does that seem fair to you?
So, but tell me this then. It doesn't seem fair. And I've asked repeatedly, you've probably seen me.
And by the way, I had a great relationship with Obama. So this is not a.
So, but then there's
I voted
this.
for Obama. I stood in line for 6 hours to shake Obama's hand. Okay.
So let me just ask on a personal level. I can see it in your face. This hurt you personally.
And it hurt the company too. And it was an insult to, Tesla has 140,000 employees. Okay. Of the half of them are in the United States. Tesla has created more manufacturing jobs than everyone else combined.
So let me ask this then. You've devoted at least the last close to 20 years of your life, if not more, to the climate change, trying to get Tesla off the ground, in part to improve climate. You've talked about that.
Yeah, a real right-wing motive is.
Repeatedly.
God, far right, if anything.
I understand that. And then
it's right. Reverse psychology next level.
Well, no, but so here's then the question, which is how do you square the support that you have given? I believe you were at a fundraiser for Vivek Ramaswamy, for example, who says that the climate issue is a hoax, right?
Yeah, I disagree with him on that.
But I would think that would be such a singular issue for you. I would think that the climate issue is such a singular issue for you that actually it would disqualify almost anybody who didn't take that issue seriously.
Well, I haven't endorsed anyone for president. I mean, I wanted to hear what Vivek had to say because I think some of his things some of the things he says I think are pretty solid. is concerned about government overreach, about government control of information. The degree to which old Twitter was basically a sock puppet of the government was ridiculous. So, it seems to me that there's a very severe violation of the First Amendment in terms of how much government control, how much control the government had over old Twitter, and it no longer does. So, there's a reason for the First Amendment. The reason for the First Amendment for freedom of speech is because the people that immigrated to this country came from places where there was not freedom of speech, and they were like, you know what, we got to make sure that that's constitutional, because where they came from, if they said something, they'd be put in prison, or there'd be, something bad would happen to them. So, and freedom of speech, you have to say, when is it relevant? It's only relevant when someone you don't like can say something you don't like, or it has no meaning. And as soon as you sort of, throw in the towel and concede to censorship, it is only a matter of time before someone...
I am a free speech absolutist. I do believe that people should be able to... You can't have a thinking people if you can't. If they're not allowed to actually voice their concerns and have public discussions about it and the like.
Censors you. And that is why we have the First Amendment.
Could you see yourself voting for President Biden? If it's a Biden-Trump election, for example?
I think I would not vote for Biden.
You'd vote for Trump?
I'm not saying I'd vote for Trump, but I mean, this is definitely a difficult choice here.
Would you vote for Nikki Haley? Nikki Haley, by the way, wants all social media names to be exposed, as you know.
No, I think that's outrageous. Yeah, no, I'm not going to vote for some pro-censorship candidate. Like I said, I mean, I think you have to consider that there's a lot of wisdom in these amendments. The Constitution, and a lot of things that we take for granted here in the United States that don't even exist in Canada. There's no constitutional right to freedom of speech in Canada. So, it's not, and there's no Miranda rights in Canada. People think you have the right to remain silent. You don't actually in Canada. So, I'm half Canadian. I can say these things, I suppose. But, you just got you.
What does that mean? You don't have the right to remain silent? Like, if you don't talk, they just beat the shit out of you, or what? How does that work?
The freedom of speech is incredibly important. Even when people say, and like I said, it's actually especially important. In fact, it is only relevant when people you don't like can say things you don't like.
And do you think right now that
they're meaningless?
You think right now the Republican candidates or the Democrats are more inclined? I mean, this is where you go to, I assume, to woke and anti-woke and the mind virus issue that you've talked about. Which party do you think is more pro freedom of speech, given all the things you've seen? Because we also see,
yes.
DeSantis, preventing people from reading certain things. Maybe you think that's correct.
No.
You want to know what I think would be an interesting conversation to have? I think that if you... I think an interesting conversation, because I had a monarchy versus democracy conversation, and I do believe that democracies are the better option, even though it can, I think part of the problem that we have within the States is the gridlock that we have within. Everything moves so slow. You see in China, if they need a hospital built, they'll build that motherfucker in 2 days or something like that, So what I think would be an interesting conversation to have is a two-party system or a one-party system better in a democracy? I think that would be a very fun conversation to have. Yeah.
Look, we actually are in an odd situation here where, on balance, the Democrats appear to be more pro-censorship than the Republicans. I mean, that used to be the opposite. It used to be, the left position was freedom of speech. I believe at one point,
what he's saying right now, I don't know if I disagree with, and I think it's to do with who's in power. If a Republican is in power, the Democrats are going to be freedom of speech, freedom of speech, freedom of speech. if a Republican is in power, wait, what the fuck did I say? If the Republican is in power, the Democrats are going to be saying freedom of speech, freedom of speech. If a Democrat's in power, the Republicans are going to be saying freedom of speech, freedom of speech, freedom of speech. But they shut up when it's their people that are in power because they don't want the dissenting opinions and that kind of stuff. And that's
You even defended the right of someone to claim that they were Nazi or something like that, you know? So, like, they really were, like, the left was, freedom of speech is fundamental. I mean, my at least perception, perhaps it isn't accurate, is that the pro-censorship is more on the left than the right. We certainly get more complaints from the left than the right, let me put it that way. But my aspiration for the X platform is that it is the best source of truth, or the least inaccurate source of truth. And well, you know, I don't know if you will believe me or not, but I think honesty is the best policy, and I think that the truth will win over time. And we've got this great system, and it's getting better, called Community Notes, which is fantastic, I think, at correcting falsehoods or adding context. In fact, we make a point of not removing anything, but only adding context. Now, that context could include that this is completely false, and here's why. And no one is immune to this. I'm not immune to it. Advertisers are not immune to it. In fact, we've had Community Notes, which has caused us some loss in advertising, speaking of loss in advertising revenue. If a community note, if there's false advertising, the community note will say, this is false, and here is why. I mean, there's one specific example that is public knowledge, so I'll mention it, which is, at one point, Uber had this ad which said, earn like a boss. And it was community noted, if by boss you mean $12.47 an hour, this did cause at least a temporary suspension of advertising from Uber.
I got to ask you a question that might make everybody in the room uncomfortable or not uncomfortable. It goes to the free speech issue. The New York Times company and the New York Times newspaper, it appeared over the summer to be throttled.
What did?
The New York Times.
Well, we do require that that everyone has to buy a subscription, and we don't make exceptions for anyone. And I think if I want the New York Times, I have to pay for a subscription, and they don't give me a free subscription. So I'm not going to give them a free subscription.
But were you throttling the New York Times relative to other news organizations, relative to everybody else? Was it specific to the Times?
They didn't buy a subscription. By the way, it only costs like $1,000 a month. So if they just do that, then they're back in the saddle.
But you are saying that it was throttled.
No, I'm saying.
I mean, was there a conversation that you had with somebody? You said, look, you know, I'm unhappy with the Times. They should either be buying the subscription, or I don't like their content, or whatever.
Any organization that refuses to buy a subscription is not going to be recommended.
But then, what does that say about free speech? And what does that say about amplifying certain voices?
Free, it costs a little bit.
But that's an interesting.
Well, that comes into, is it an inherent human right, or is it a pay-to-play model? Which, he's a hyper-capitalist. Obviously, he wants the pay-to-play model. And I will say one thing. I think that the monetization of Twitter, the membership plans for users, I think killed a lot of bot accounts, or at least the bot accounts are paying him. So it does help bring that down, or at least he's making money off of it, kind of like stealing the resources from. What do you mean? Is this better? Hello? It's up all the way. This might be on your end. Because if I open the live, I can hear myself, right? Okay. Oh God! All right, I brought this closer. We'll hopefully this will be better. I would just start walking like this. In 1948, I drink caffeine, so I'm not gonna fucking. Wait, did he? Uh, I may have missed it. We may have not gotten there yet. I know he does.
Either be buying the subscription, or I don't like their content, or whatever.
Any organization
They've kind of danced around the topic a little bit. Let's go.
that refuses to buy a subscription
Thank you.
is not going to be recommended.
But then what does that say about free speech? And what does
Well,
that say about amplifying
free speech is not
certain
exactly
voices?
free. It costs a little bit.
But that's it. But that's an interesting.
You know, it's like an.
I love narrator mode. Yeah. Hell yeah. Thank you.
South Park, where they say, you know, freedom isn't free, it costs $1.05 or whatever. But it's pretty cheap, okay? It's low cost freedom.
I got a couple more questions for you. You're headed back to Texas after this to launch the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big launch. But I wanted to ask you right now, more broadly, just about the car business and what you see actually happening. And specifically, the government put in place lots of policies, as you know, to try to encourage more EVs. And one of the things that's happened uniquely.
I can also do more from Madagascar, but I have to be in the mood for it. It just kind of comes naturally, but yeah.
Is you have now a lot of car companies saying, actually, this is too ambitious for us. These plans are too ambitious. 4,000 dealers, I don't know if you saw just yesterday, sent a letter to the White House saying, this has gone too far. You're going too far. You had this
anti-EV?
This is going too fast, too far, and that there's not enough demand. Underneath all this is this idea that maybe there's not enough demand for EVs, that the American public has not bought into they bought into it with your company, but they haven't bought into it broadly enough.
Well, I think if you make a compelling electric car, people will buy it, no question about it. I mean, electric car sales in China are gigantic. That's by far the biggest category.
Right.
And I think that would be the case, you know. I mean, it's worth noting, okay, so probably the best refutation of that is that the Tesla Model Y will be the best-selling car of any kind on Earth this year. Of any kind, gasoline or otherwise.
Is there another car company that you think is doing a good job with EVs?
I mean, I think the Chinese car companies are extremely competitive. By far, our toughest competition is in China. So, I mean, there's a lot of people.
I really like the Neo model. It's a company that I invested in like 3 years ago. I rode that wave. I like their model where they, instead of charging stations, they have battery replacement stations. So they'll fully charge the battery and have it ready to go, and it takes just like 5 minutes to like swap it out. That's really interesting. I also like the idea of roads that are able to charge a car, because we could do like train systems or something along those lines. Obviously, we need high-speed rail. That's you know, that's a given. But yeah.
Who out there think that the top 10 car companies is going to be Tesla, followed by 9 Chinese car companies. I think they might not be wrong. So China is super good at manufacturing, and the work ethic is incredible. So, you know, like if we consider different leagues of competitiveness at Tesla, we consider the Chinese league to be the most competitive. And by the way, we do very well in China because our China team is the best China.
How worried are you that the unionization effort that just took place, I shouldn't say effort, but the new wages and the like at GM and Ford, that they're coming for you? And they are coming for you. What is that going to mean to you and your business?
Well, I think it's generally not good to have an adversarial relationship between people on the line, you know, one group at the company and another group.
Are you
In fact,
about Neo?
I mean,
I don't. Really
I disagree with the idea of unions. But Professor,
I think they do give like a more. They're a cheaper option, and they are expanding. They're expanding to like the UK and stuff like that. It's one to watch out for. Them, Xpeng, and another one I don't remember. They're really, really good. But yeah, I mean, like as technologies get more and more advanced, I think inflation kind of just is a given. It's like a feature of whatever. So while it will take like $80,000, I think that will devalue over time. I think I read like an article or something that said like in 10 years, there'll be an event that'll like bring down the value of the dollar like another level of magnitude or like half it or something like that. I think that's pretty interesting to think about. Um, but yeah, I mean, more advanced technologies will eventually cost more, which is why we need to decommodify. But that's just me. RE7. I'm not using anything. This is plugged into my computer, and that's about it. Uh, you have to understand that I'm a caveman. I just got a computer like 2 years ago, and we had a family computer growing up, but I stepped away from the virtual world for a while I was trying to learn about the real world, how it works, and all that kind of stuff. Now I'm back, so we'll learn it as we go. But I'll next stream I do, it'll probably be sometime next week. I want to dual cast. I can't decide if I want to do it on Kick or on YouTube. Um, Probably Kick, just because I really want to be able to listen to music. I like having songs at the beginning, and not just like random non-copyright songs that nobody knows, but like good songs, you know. Billboard 100. No. But yeah, I want to do that. I'll see what software I can use for the sound as well. It does it like just sound like too far away sometimes, or what's the issue? Please. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to Kick. I like the model there. It is like the Wild West though, so I'll see what kind of characters I encounter.
The reason that is
What happens is you play video and your sound gets turned down. Okay. That might be just because the speaker's trying to. Hmm. I'll check that out. I'll see what's up with that. Um. Yeah, I got you. Um. I'll make sure to pause when I'm talking next time. And then we should have this fixed by next stream, Tuesday, maybe Sunday. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling. I did say Tuesday last Sunday, and then I streamed for 2 minutes on Thursday for the bit, and now I'm here.
different than people may expect, which is I just don't like anything which creates kind of a lords and peasants sort of thing. And I think the unions naturally try to create negativity in a company and create a sort of lords and peasants situation. There are many people at Tesla who have gone from working on the line to being in senior management. There is no lords and peasants. Everyone eats at the same table. Everyone parks in the same parking lot. You know, at GM, there's a special elevator only for senior executives. We have no such thing at Tesla. You know, and the things that I actually know the people on the line because I worked on the line and I walked the line and I slept in the factory and I worked beside them. So I'm no stranger to them. And there are actually many times where I've said, well, can't we just hold a union vote? But apparently a company is not allowed to hold a union vote. So it has to be somehow called for, but the unions can't do it. So I said, well, let's just hold a vote and see what happens. The actual problem is the opposite. It's not that people are trapped at Tesla building cars. The challenge is how do we retain great people to do the hard work of building cars when they have like 6 other opportunities that they can do that are easier. That's the actual difficulty, is that building cars is hard work and there are much easier jobs. And I just want to say that I'm incredibly appreciative of those who build cars, and they know it. You know, so...
It's pretty bad shit insane to say that labor unions create a peasant lord dynamic. Have I not been saying this entire time that he's a techno-feudal lord that has the infrastructure that spans the entire globe? And he's talking about a trade unionist group within one company, and It's pretty bad shit. Like to pretend that he's like he said he works with the people so that he's just I'm just the same. I'm just a little boy. I'm just a little boy. Absolutely insane.
There's I don't know, maybe there will be unionized. If I say, like, if Tesla gets unionized, it will be because we deserve it and we failed in some way. But we certainly try hard to, ensure the prosperity of everyone. We give everyone.
The trade union issue is one that I think an educated populace or an educated organization, professional leftists, I think you can't just destroy the company. You can't just company is important to states, and while we want the dissolution of the state, I don't think the conditions are properly met yet to be able to do away with the state. And while the state is a state, it needs companies to be able to help it achieve the goals in development, to be able to get the people to a place that they can be educated enough to be able to know the importance of a nation. The problem comes when that trade union is completely destructive and has no regard for the nation as a whole, I think. So I've been speaking away from the mic. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I just think we need more educated leadership in those roles. I think that it's almost everything. Like there's nothing, no man is an island. You know, um, everything needs to be able to work in synchronicity with each other. I don't think that a lord like Elon Musk should be given complete control over something, especially when it's not certain that he has the people's best. Um, I don't think he has people's livelihoods as his like top priority, and I think that there needs to be a counterbalance to that. Just as he was saying, there needs to be counterbalances to everything. So I think trade unions are important, but I think that you have to be able to ensure that stability within peoples are is kept, because if not, then the the what's the word, opponents, not the opponents, the adversaries of whatever nation is being eaten from the inside, um, will jump on that opportunity. So I think that lords always think that they're on the right side of whatever fight they're going at, but I think that they forget one piece of the equation or another, and I think it's important to have all, like he was saying earlier, like is one AI more powerful than the entirety of the human consciousness put together? Is one feudal lord, like, no matter how smart he is he smarter than everybody put together? That's why I think that everybody needs a seat at the table. It's to some extent. They need to be they need to know at least a little bit of how the world works. But yeah, I don't know. It's a complex issue, but I think it's one that we can solve probably.
Stock options. We've made many people who are just working the line who didn't even know what stocks were. We've made them millionaires. So
we're going to run out of time. Final couple quick questions. When do you have the time to tweet or to post? I actually think about it all the time. As I said, I use
go to
it.
the bathroom sometimes.
I use it all the time. Meaning, if we were to open up our phones and look at the screen time, what does yours look like?
Well, about every 3 hours, I make a trip to the lavatory.
And that's the only time you do this? Seems like you're on there a lot.
No.
That I think that's the beauty of Twitter. Like it part of the reason why it was so inflammatory is because you could just like literally like have a thought and then just go and post it, and then that was it. You know, it's just out there. Like whatever brainchild you had was just out there. And I kind of wanted to use Twitch like that. I kind of wanted to use like a social media to like, you know, liven it up a little bit. Like it doesn't take that much time to post this tweet. I think this is a little bit of a ridiculous question, but that's coming from someone that's terminally online. So
I mean, there'll be like brief moments between meetings. I mean, it's not, obviously I have like 17 jobs, so, you know, and no, I guess technically it's work at this point.
It is, but I think just in terms of your mind share. I mean, by the way, there's a lot of people who should be working who are on this app.
Technically, posting on Twitter or X is work. It does count as work. So that's, you know, there's that.
Where's my fucking check, Zuckerberg? All right, I got copyright striked.
But no, I mean, I think
I hate copyright, dude, so much.
I'm on. Well, I guess usually probably I'm on for longer than I think I am.
I know, but.
Now, I will say one thing, and this isn't really to do with copyright, because I think this is, like, copyright protects bigger people, not so much smaller people. But part of the reason, like, I'd like to make some video essays or some shit like that, but it seems like anytime that I, like, start writing a script up or something, like, I'll go online and then immediately, like, someone will, like, be talking about the thing that I'm wanting to talk about, and I'm like, oh, okay, this person's bigger than me, I don't really have to talk about it anymore, because I don't really care who says it as long as it's out there, but like it's a little harder to, maybe I just need to like avoid YouTube while I'm like doing all this shit, but who knows.
Do you think that's 5 hours a day, 4 hours?
The screen time of like number of hours per week, sometimes that's a scary number. It's probably, I don't know, it's a little over an hour a day or something like that.
Just an hour a day? If we really looked at this together, do you have your phone with you?
Yeah.
You want to look?
Why is it so bad?
Okay, here we go. You ready? Screen time in general?
Screen time.
Okay, I have my phone on like never lock, so like it's almost always like turned on to some extent, except for right now because I'm working. But oh no. But I don't know. Screen time is like I'm terminally online, so my screen time's pretty up there. I'm not gonna lie.
Sometimes this is a scary number, but
I know. That's why I thought.
I just got a new phone, so I think this is not accurate because it says it's 1 minute. Pretty sure it's more than that. Wait, it's over the week. There we go.
Yeah, go to the week.
Okay, so it's still wrong. It's more than 4 minutes. I just got a new phone, so this is not accurate. It literally says 4 minutes.
New phone. Tim Cook sent you that phone?
New phone, who does, you know?
I should ask, by the way, because I just mentioned Tim Cook. Do you feel like you're going to have a battle with him eventually? Is that the next fight? I mean, over the App Store?
The idea of making a phone. Oh, what do you mean, like?
No.
App Store?
Over the App Store. Would you ever make a phone? Sam Altman's apparently thinking about making a phone with Johnny Ive.
I mean, I don't think there's a real need to make a phone.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a essential need to make a phone, I'll make a phone, but I got a lot of fish to fry, so.
Yeah, that's the weird question. These are weird questions, bro. These last questions are a little weird. How much screen time are you using? Are you gonna make a phone? I mean, it's interesting to be able to, like the power of phones is pretty crazy. Like you have, for one, like the software update feature that they have to be able to automatically update is pretty crazy. The amount of control that you have with a phone wirelessly, um, and then I think what was his name, Snowden. He pretty much like showed us how much like data they have just by phones alone, and like being able to tap. And what I forget what the name of that law that was signed was, the one after 9/11, whatever that was. But that would be a reason to make a phone, is if you want like streamline, like to keep them within your bubble. But that's more so Apple's model. They have a pretty big monopoly on that market. So
I mean, I do think there's a fundamental challenge that phone makers have at this point, because you've got basically a black rectangle. How do you make that better?
So do you want to do that? What does that look like in Elon's head?
No, that's literally, yeah, good phrase, in the head, Neuralink.
Well, there we go. We need to touch that before it's over.
The best interface would be a neural interface directly to your brain. So that would be a Neuralink.
How far are we?
God, dude, modernity is a fucking nightmare. I can't fucking do this. Oh my god. Like, I've pretty much like accepted the fact that like I'm never gonna have privacy again in my life. But the one place that I have privacy right now is my mind. Where like I can just like, no one can know what I like that. There's like ideas that I specifically keep in my head because I don't want anybody to have them. Which kind of sucks, but the idea that Neuralink, God, that's terrifying. That's terrifying to be able to like control. Like if we're talking about automatons, like it's just like he could just give like a little nudge in this one specific place, and you know that like 15 years down the line, this person's gonna be this or that or this or that. Pretty insane. Give me 1 second though. I really have to use the restroom. Yeah. Okay, I'm back.
Do you think from that, and how excited or scary does that seem to be? And we read these headlines, obviously, about monkeys who died, as you know. What should we think about that?
Yeah, actually, the USDA inspector who came by the Neuralink facilities literally said in her entire career she has never seen a better animal care facility. We are the nicest to animals that you could possibly be, even to the rats and mice, even though they did the plague and everything.
Have you seen the the seal that he kidnapped and put headphones on? Ridiculous. This man was just minding his own business. He just got kidnapped and put headphones on. They were testing to see if the rockets were like fucking with the with the seals. So he does that to test it out, as if that's not probably like the most distressing thing that's ever happened in his life.
It is like monkey paradise. The thing that gets conflated is that there were some terminal monkeys where, this is actually several years ago.
Terminal monkeys. They were all terminal.
Where the monkeys were about to die. And we're like, okay, we've got an experimental device. It's the kind of thing we should only put in a monkey that's about to die. And then, now the monkey died, but it didn't die because of the Neuralink. It died because it was, had a terminal case of cancer or something like that. So,
once again, press X to doubt. I want that emote so bad.
Neuralink has never caused the death of a monkey. It's best, unless they're hiding something from me, it has never caused the death of a monkey. And in fact, we've now had monkeys with Neuralink implants for like 2-3 years, and they're doing great. So, and we've even replaced the Neuralink twice, and we're getting ready to do the first implants hopefully in a few months. The early implementations of Neuralink, I think, are unequivocally good. Speaking of the double-edged sword, I think these early implementations are single-edged sword, because the first implementations will be to enable people who have lost the brain-body connection to be able to operate a computer or a phone faster.
I am really looking forward to what we do with Alzheimer's, because that's one of my worries. My brain is like my most prized possession, and I am predisposed to Alzheimer's, so yeah. But I think that can be solved with medicine, maybe. It doesn't necessarily have to be Neuralink, but I am looking forward to that being solved. But then again, we go into like the whole technology thing. I really have to do a deep dive into TED, but...
Than someone who has hands that work. So you can imagine if Stephen Hawking could communicate faster than someone who had full body functionality. How incredible that would be. Well, that's what this device will do. And we should have a proof of that in a human, hopefully in a few months. It already works in monkeys and works quite well with monkeys that can play video games just by thinking. So then the next application after the sort of those, dealing with tetraplegics and quadriplegics.
Okay, I want to say one thing. I'm not glazing him, but this necklace used to have a crucifix on it, and I used to play with it exactly how he's playing with it. And it's I got this from my brother like 6-7 years ago, so this is why I wear it all the time. But yeah, that's I like that.
Quadriplegics is going to be vision. Vision is the next thing. So it's like if somebody has lost both eyes or the optic nerve has failed, basically where they have no possibility of having sort of some ocular correction, that will be the next thing for Neuralink is a direct vision interface. And in fact, then you could be like Geordi LaForge from Star Trek. You could see in like any frequency, actually. You could see in radar if you want.
2 final questions, and then we're going to end this conversation, which I think has taken everybody inside the mind of Elon Musk today.
Not as well as Neuralink will, though.
It actually goes to self-driving cars and vision and everything else. And I asked this question of Pete Buttigieg, Transportation Secretary. It's actually something you retweeted, so I wanted to ask you the same question. There's a big question about autonomous vehicles and the safety of them, but there's also a question about when it will be politically palatable in this country for people to die in cars that are controlled by computers, which is, say, we have 35,000, 40,000 deaths every year in this country.
Yeah.
If you could bring that number down to 10,000, 5,000, that might be a great thing. But do we think that the country will accept the idea that 5,000 people, that your family, might have perished in a vehicle as a result not of a human making a mistake, but of a computer?
Yes. Well, first of all, humans are terrible drivers. So people text and drive, they drink and drive, they get into arguments, they do all sorts of things in cars that they should not do. So it's actually remarkable that there are not more deaths than there are. What we'll find with computer driving is, I think, probably an order of magnitude reduction in deaths. I think, and the U.S. has actually far fewer deaths per capita than the rest of the world. If you go worldwide, I think there's something close to 1 million deaths per year due to automotive accidents. So I think computer driving will probably drop that by 90% or more. It won't be perfect, but it'll be 10 times better.
And do you think that the public will accept that? Do you think the government will accept that?
Well, in large numbers, it will simply be so obviously true that it really cannot be denied.
And what do you think? I know we've talked about the timeline before, and I know people have criticized you for putting out timelines that may not have come true just yet. But what do you think it really is? And by the way, do you ever say to yourself, oh, I shouldn't have said that?
Sure, of course. Wait, I should have said that. I'm optimistic about, I think I'm like naturally optimistic about timescales, and if I was not naturally optimistic, I wouldn't be doing the things that I'm doing. I certainly wouldn't have started a rocket company or an electric car company if I didn't have some sort of pathological optimism, frankly.
I just don't understand why we can't have high-speed rail, man. It blows my mind. Like, we don't have to technically get rid of cars, but there's this study that was done in, like, Tokyo for mycelium making routes as to how to most efficiently send resources from one place to another. And I don't see why we can, like, because if you think of, like, the interstate highways, it's basically like a grid, you know? Like, it's built in squares. It's not super efficient. It's just laid out like that. And I think that we don't necessarily have to get rid of that, but, like, there definitely should be a better way to be able to disperse resources within a nation through like a high-speed rail built through routes that are, like, made either through AI or maybe just, like, really smart humans that actually want to do the work to figure out what the most efficient way to distribute resources is. So, like, this car conversation is a little boring to me, but, you know.
As you pointed out, many people said it would fail, and in fact, I agreed with them. I said, yes, it probably will fail. And they're like, okay. But I thought SpaceX and Tesla had less than a 10% chance of success when we started them. Anyway, but the self-driving thing is I've been optimistic about it. We've certainly made a lot of progress. If anybody has tried, has been using the sort of full self-driving beta, the progress is, every year has been substantial. It's really now at the point where, in most places, it'll take you from one place to another with no interventions. And the data is unequivocal that supervised full self-driving is somewhere around 4 times safer, or maybe more, than just human driving by themselves. I can certainly see it coming. Actually, really,
but do you think it's another 5 or 10 years? I mean, people say...
No, definitely not.
And do you feel like investors have invested in something that hasn't happened yet? Is that fair to them? And that's the other question that people have about that.
Well, I mean, I think they've all, with rare exception, thought it wasn't happening. No, I can certainly see it coming. Actually, really,
but do you think it's another 5 or 10 years? I mean, people say...
No, definitely not.
And do you feel like investors have invested in something that hasn't happened yet? Is that fair to them? And that's the other question that people have about that.
Well, I mean, I think they've all, with rare exception, thought it wasn't happening. So they were investing despite thinking, they're very clear that they don't think it's real. So they're not saying, oh, we just believe everything Elon says, hook, line, and sinker. But the thing is that, I mean, it would be a fair criticism of me to say that I'm late, but it isn't. But I always deliver in the end.
Let me ask you the final question. I took note of this. It was November 11th, and you took to Twitter, and you wrote only 2 words. You said, amplify empathy.
Right.
I was taken aback by that, given all the things that have been going on in the world. Do you remember what you were thinking?
Well, I think it's quite literally.
I understand it, but what was going on? Why did you write that?
Well, I was encouraging people to amplify empathy. Literally. I tend to be quite literal.
But was there something that had happened that you had seen that you said to yourself, I want to say that?
I think I was talking to some friends, and we all agreed that we should try to amplify empathy, and so I wrote amplify empathy.
If you wanted an unvarnished look inside the mind of Elon Musk, I think you just saw it.
Look, sometimes it's pretty simple, you know.
Elon Musk, thank you very, very much for the conversation.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it very, very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Here, take that with you for a second. I'm just going to say a thank you to everybody who stuck around for what has been a remarkable day. We're so appreciative of everybody who has been with us for so many years, coming back to this every year. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you had a great day, and I hope we have an opportunity to do this again. Elon Musk, everybody, thank you.
Very nice. That was pretty good. Pretty good interview. Do I have any prescriptions? Yes. Build high-speed rail. Fix my Alzheimer's. Trade unions are important, but we need educated peoples. The whole world is fucked. Reality is a nightmare. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a good, like, I don't know. I enjoyed it. It's like, it feels like sometimes people just, like, drink their own Kool-Aid a little too much, but, I like people that create things more than anything, so. All right. All right, one more thing, and then I might play Dyson Sphere program. Maybe. Like I said, I drank fucking caffeine, so I fucked up on that. All right. Next topic. Okay. What the? Oh, that's awful. God, I fucking hate ads. One of these days, I'm going to not dox myself. Until that day. All right, let's talk about the court system. That'll be edited out for sure. Once I figure out how to edit that out. Please don't clip me. All right, let's talk about the court system. I'm not a fan of this. Not a fan of this at all. Wait, is this on Edge? Why? Why? Órale. No, it's not on Edge. I'm just retarded. Let's go. All right, this one doesn't have such a terrible ad. Okay. Let's talk about the court system. Indigenous community in Ecuador wins legal fight to reclaim ancestral land after more than 80 years. Story by Michael Ross, CNN. This was a day ago. All right. It just won't stop. It just fucking won't stop. Does anybody want to put things in their ear for tinnitus? Well, now's your chance. All right. An indigenous community has won a court battle to regain ownership over its ancestral homeland in the Ecuadorian Amazon more than 80 years after they were displaced because of the war. An Ecuadorian appeals court backed the Siacopai nation's claim over Pequeya, a biodiverse territory in northeast Ecuador along the border with Peru, according to a court ruling provided to CNN by Amazon Frontline, a non-profit organization working with indigenous people to defend their land rights. The Siacopai were displaced during the Peru-Ecuador War in the 1940s. Last September, the community, which has only about 800 members, filed a lawsuit against the Ecuadorian state, claiming that it was violating the right to ancestral property, Amazon Frontline says. In its ruling on Friday, the Provincial Court of Sucumbios, gave Ecuador's Ministry of Environment 45 days to deliberate property title to the Siacopai people for more than 104,000 acres of land, court documents show. This is a historic moment for the Siacopai nation, says Elias Pillawaje, president of the Siacopai Nation of Ecuador. The land of Pequeya has always been and will always be ours. For over 80 years, we have been fighting to get our land back. The ruling will mark the first time that the Ecuadorian government delivers a land title to an indigenous community whose ancestral territory is found in a protected area. The Amazon Frontline said, adding it sets an invaluable precedent for all indigenous peoples fighting to recover their land across Latin America and the world. Pillawaje says, we are fighting for the preservation of our culture on this planet. Without this territory, we cannot exist as Siacopai people. Hell yeah! We love... This is, like, obviously this is a good thing that happened, but, like, what are the odds that this happens again? What are the odds that, like, this would have happened in the first place, you know? The thing about settlers is that, like, they tend to run the they tend to have a lot of control within these nations. So going through the court is it's a bold move, okay? It's a bold move to put your faith in that type of thing. Not to say that it can't be done, but it's not something that happens every day. They're not going to just cede territory to a people. Not to say that they don't have the ancestral right. I think that indigeneity is one of the foremost precursors as to whether you have land rights to that. Let's go. Yeah, yeah, it's just you. Yeah, I'm just talking to myself. Well, I mean, like, I'm gonna cut this up. I'm gonna try to put it on YouTube, make a few shorts and stuff like that. But yeah, we're slowly building it up. Trying to at least. Um, but yeah, what was I saying? This is the first time that I've seen someone get their land rights back without violent revolution, which is saying something. It's a feel good story, but I don't think it'll have a. It's an interesting precedent, but maybe I'm just jaded. Maybe. I mean, I guess one of the important things is to never stop fighting for those land rights. If they don't genocide you and if they don't ethnically cleanse you, then you got to keep fighting that good fight. But yeah. Anyways, that's that story. I want to see what it looks like. Are these tattoos or just drawn on? Either way, they're very, very pretty. Yeah, that's very nice. Nice. Maybe Google Maps? Wait, no, that's not the... Okay. Nice, okay. This is Ecuador. I think this is Peru. Yeah, that's Peru. So it should be right here somewhere. Wow. Nice. Yeah, whatever. It's very pretty. Gators. All right. That was a decent stream. Yeah. Maybe. The Elon segment, I like that. I like talking about big topics. I feel like we touched on a lot of them in that, so we'll see. And I have to cut out that once part where I fucking did the thing. I should learn Blender with you guys. That might be fun. But you guys will see me pause the video and go back like 20 times and see how that goes. I am tired, but my brain's awake now because caffeine. Ha! I don't even have any snacks that I can eat while I'm on stream right now. I usually have like an apple or something. Wait, there's a mixer right there? Nice. Okay, let's put this over here so you don't see how much shit. Let's go! Thank you for the follow, man. Appreciate you. And if I was on YouTube, I'd say like the stream. Alright, nice. Alright, like I said, my logistics problem now, okay? I have the energy down, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 205 megawatts. So we're about double the production that we need. Which is good. I probably need to make a factory for the sales, because this is getting ridiculous. Yeah, look at this. Look at how inefficient this motherfucker is. You have all of this fuel right here. And it just won't feed. It just, like, for whatever reason, it just won't feed. Look at that. That's so fucking dumb. Oh, and the drones are so nice. I do like those. Oh, another thing I found out is you can save all your shit in here, so it gives you like more inventory space for just like random bullshit. That's pretty cool, like that. You see, like I have all the base like resources right here, and then all the more complex ones Because I refuse to make factories for them. And that's gonna be like 7 fucking assemblers per each one just to make one piece. Then yeah, I think I'll do that with the other. I need to walk around for a second. Give me a second, please. Hi! Oh god. Fuck it, we're doing a sleep stream. I can just like knock the fuck out right here. You can hear me snore and fart. Oh god. Should I change the name? Alright, okay, alright. What are we working on? Let's start some technologies. Okay. I've unlocked all of this without leaving the planet for resources. Also, as you can tell, if I don't know how to use something, I just won't update it. That seems too complex. 6% more consumption. That actually that would help so much. Okay, let's do that one. Yeah. Now watch my drone just fucking bring me all my shit. I don't even have to move. Wait. Yeah, right there. This is like the perfect epicenter right here. Everybody can reach me. Yeah, feed me. It didn't drop anything. Oh, they're feeding this. Haha. Yeah, I keep like, see this, this one they have 1,000 reserves left. This is like at a snail's pace. Very sad. We got titanium here for some reason. Oh yeah. So I built one because this was out of range, so I had to build 2 here and then feed them through each other, so one sends out this way and then one receives from over here. Seemed like easier than building all of this, because you have to wait like way too long for all that. They're so slow sometimes. Feed me. Oh right, I was supposed to fix this. What does it need? It needs oil. Okay, so that should be you know what? I'm just gonna feed all this. Nice, okay. And we can
path. There we go. Alright, cool. Oh lord. It's gonna get blocked again. It's gonna get blocked again. Fuck. It's so annoying. Maybe... I just don't understand why it won't feed. Okay, well this is pretty much awkward. No, there's two right here! I hate thermal power plants. They've been so annoying. They've been so annoying. Let me just focus on Dyson spheres and nuclear reactors from now on. Damn it. This was very fun to make. Very, very fun to make. Because I couldn't figure out why I kept getting stuck. I'm like, oh, it's sending out the fucking deuteramite here? Whatever it's called. Deuterium. Okay, alright, okay. Well, warp. Trash. Wow. I put these storage tanks like stopgaps in case there's like a backup or anything. Oh, one thing. Where? I don't even remember what the. No. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Like all of these are like relative. Like, isn't this like one of the problems with capitalism? Is like you're barely staying alive as you're burning through all of these resources. This one's positive. This one's negative. Negative. Got no silicon crystals. What the hell is this? What does that mean? These are all the planets I visited. Nice. The last like day I've been focusing, like I've been stuck on this planet just trying to maintain all the resources instead of going out to other planets, which is technically my like one of my biggest faults within just any social setting is I like no matter where I go in the world I always end up coming back to my hometown, so it seems to be a trend. Okay. What are we going to do? I think I saw a planet that had some pretty nice iron veins, and I think I wrote it down. Was it this one? I think it was this one. Yeah, it's got optical grading crystal, organic crystals, kimberlite, fire ice, which is nice. That creates I think that creates hydrogen, I want to say. No, not hydrogen. Deuterium. No. Is it hydrogen? Yeah. Okay, so hydrogen. So fire ice creates 1 hydrogen and 2 graphene, which is super nice. That's really cool. So I think because I need the graphene to be able to make the deuteron fuel source. So I need those, and I need titanium. This has titanium, right? Yes, it has titanium. And then I need what is that? Coal? Oh shit, okay. So I could use the nice, okay. Stop. So I could use the fire ice to make that in the graphene, and then find some and then I could feed that into the oil. But I need to learn how to use the sorters for that. Oh, this is a Dyson Sphere program. I get super autistic with it. Because I'm trying to plan out. So like the first like don't pay attention to how many hours I played. This has all been learning. Okay, I've been trying to figure out how to learn the game, what things work, what things don't. It seems to be a balance between energy and resource accumulation, or obtaining the resource. I'm basically sucking the planets dry right now. But yeah. Also, it's only one galaxy. I was kind of hoping to see where it went with like the whole universe. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go to other galaxies, but that is the thing. So I need no There's so much to do. Okay. Strange matter as a gravitational energy. Oh yeah, this does for the warp drive. So I do need it for the warp drive too. And we'll need iron, and we'll need a particle container, which we can get from the graphene. Wait. What is that? It's not helpful. To Google. Wait, did I dox myself in any of these? Okay, there's my fucking Facebook. We'll take that out. Hang on. That's good. Delete that. Take that out. Yes. What is this strange matter? Yes. Okay, this right here is saying that it's only done by this, but that's a lie, because it says right here that you can make it with... Wait, no, that's the particle container. Container. What is this? Unipolar magnet. Rare ore. I don't think the planet I was the star system I was looking at had a magnet. Crude oil, kimberlite, organic crystals, optical grating. Nope. Nothing. Wait, did I close it out? Oh, you son of a whore. Gather from the unipolar magnet vein, which is rare. That's not helpful. Let's see where it's at. Nothing. Nice. Okay, this one has a lot of shit. Oh shit, it has sulfuric acid. Cool. I might go here. Open that. Fractal silicon. Level 4. Nothing. Okay, so 4 light years. This is about the grid that we have is about 4 out all the way through. This is our little section that we can look at. I guess this one. This one. Yeah, that's 4. But this one's too far. Alright, which one did I pin? I think this one is gonna be the one we go to. It has a lot of shit. I think. I do want to see what a sulfuric acid ocean looks like. You got fire ice, you got wait, you have hydrogen? Oh, that's the it's probably like a gas giant or something. Wait, is the other one a gas giant too? No, that's a vein. Okay, cool, that's a vein. That is a vein as well. Okay, I think we're gonna go here. We should also set up another one of these bad boys and see how much stuff we have here. $600 on each, but we need 1,000. All right, we'll just let it re-up. Nice, congratulations. Yep. Give me the big boy, free my soul. I wanna get lost in a fucking hole and drift away. Music! We should put music on. See, this is why I like Kick. I would like to be able to play some music while we take it, chill out, you know? the real God of the Bible. He was a thunder god. Nope, 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 no. We'll watch that later. I'm just putting that in my history. Wait. That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy. Good meme. Quality meme. I like it. I'm a fan. Alright. Oh, fuck. Hello, can you still hear me? Maybe I should do like a non-copyrighted lo-fi, 'cause I think it muted me in some parts. I swear to God, if I get the MCA for this, I'll not do anything about it. Okay. I don't think I need those. Yeah, I'll just drop it. Wait, what? It's supposed to be here somewhere. Yeah. Okay, we got wind turbines, we got wireless things. I just want to make sure I have everything. Fuck thermal facilities, bro. We got fractioners. We got interstellar logistics hubs. We got enough warp drives for them. This we don't need. How much energy we got? We got plenty of energy. Alright, get her done. We'll get there in 26 days, lads. Nice. It's very hard to time this so it doesn't fucking send you. Alright, 15 seconds. Because it'll just keep going. Wait, what? Oh my god. Yep. Nice. All right, we made it, guys. We have 18 left. Let's see on the map here. Let's see what we're working with. We got one, 2, 3, 4 planets. All right, let's check them out. Pretty planet. Oh, nice. Okay, okay. These are the secure. Yes? I'm pretty sure these are the oceans. Let's see what we're working with. We got titanium, we got coal, we got silicon. Titanium. 98% construction area. Good, good, good. Wind energy ratios, 80% solar energy ratio. Orbiting the star, orbit period, rotation. Okay. To the next planet. Iron, copper, silicon, no titanium? This planet's super pretty. Holy crap. It's got a flower! Oh, holy shit. Oh. That's super cute. That's so pretty. I don't know why I expected them to not do this. That's super nice. This is the trans planet, as you can see. Yeah. Okay. Spiniform stalagmite crystal. Where is this? Okay, crude oil. That's a lot of oil. Okay. Where is this? Oh, okay, here it is. What do you do with those? remains of dead marine. What? This is crazy. Let's see what we can do with it. Okay. Nice. That's cool. Carbon nanotubes. Is that the only thing it makes? What do we do with carbon nanotubes? We make nuclear fusion devices, frames for the miniature particle accelerators. Oh god. Oh, I should probably mine some kimberlite ore since this is doesn't even have any. Kimberlite. Fire ice. Nice. There's no kimberlite on this one. Sag. Alright, let's see what's up on this one. You can see the planet from here. That's great. Whoops, didn't mean to use all that fuel. Stone. It's a frozen wasteland. Nice. Alright, that's probably gonna be another achievement, so we'll do that one quick. I don't know how much work I'm gonna get done right now. I need like a plan of attack or something. Yeah. Nice. I want that unit full of magnet. Wait, what's this? What did I just pick up? Where's this? What do you do with the optical plate? Oh shit, dude, it's gonna be... What the hell do you do with a cat? Oh, nice. This will be nice. Advanced mining machine. Okay, nope, we're not there yet. We're not even gonna try to do that. These are the bane of my existence. I'm telling you, technology, it just gets more and more advanced, and you have to feed like 40 different factories and 40 different facilities into like producing one thing. But yeah, like most everything that I need to be able to do the Dyson sphere needs that goddamn photon generator, so I think I might have to make a factory for it. Not today though. I'm tired. I'm very tired. Yeah. Hell yeah. Alright, give me 1 second. I want to check something. Honestly, AirPods have been like the one type of headphone that doesn't make my ears hurt. I was muted the whole time.
Alright guys, I'm gonna go back to my home planet and wait, actually no, I have to go to the last planet. And then I'll go back to my home planet. But then I'm going to bed. I'm tired. I'm sleepy. And yeah. I'm gonna do a sleep stream sometime when I have more than one viewer, okay? But yeah, I think we can get this done, and it'll be fun. Oh shit, we're at 2,000 sail speed already. And didn't even eat all of the battery. The Deuteron batteries are pretty nice. Rotator on its horizontal axis. Cool. Holy shit, this is, oh my god, that's a lot of titanium. Holy fuck! Alright, let's go! Can I get a let's go? This planet is super nice. I'm gonna pin that. Now, I wanna go back home. I think it's Nova? Yeah. Seconds. And 9. If you stop like 2 seconds prior, it'll fucking. Wait, what? Where are you going? Where are you going? Don't do this. Why are you slowing down? No! Oh my god, it's gonna take a day. Hours, guys. Don't worry about nothing, okay? Don't worry about nothing. I fucked up. Like I was saying, headphones that like don't hurt my ears are the fucking AirPods. Like these right now, they're relatively they're decent. They're like Bose, I think. You know, something like that. They're decent headphones, but they are painful. Let's go! Wait, that's minutes. Okay, it's not as bad as I thought. And that's hours. I may be retarded, guys. Okay. Wait, you can rotate? That's super cool. Whee. Can you do it the other way? Whatever. Thing is, we're at 3 minutes right now, and if I were to get to 2,000 centimeters per second, it would still take a minute. So I think I'm just going to wait the minute, let this motherfucker refuel, and then just send it. And then go to bed, because I'm fucking tired. I might let the fucking. No, I'm going to bed. Send it. Send it. Oh shit, we're 12 seconds away, guys. Oh shit. Oh shit. We made it. Home sweet home. Holy fuck, that's empty. What the hell happened here? My production lines! Okay, yeah, I'm not waiting for that to finish at all, in the slightest. You're insane. Crystals right now. Right now. Swear to God. Oh, they were trying to give me my crystals all the way the fuck over there. We got 586. They last about 2.5 hours. I think I maxed that out as much as I possibly could. Yeah. This one I need the gravity matrix to do that, but I don't think I want to focus. I don't think I want to build anything out here. I want to work on my upgrades first. One day I'll figure out what these two mean, but that day is not today. Construction drones, yeah. Energy circuit. I need that. 100%. 900 seconds. Yeah. So I'm at like 2 hours and 15 minutes or something like that right now. I hope I can fall asleep. My like it's one of those things where like my body is like exhausted, but my mind is like still going because of the fucking caffeine. Trust the process, human. Trust the process. How much should I trust the process, though? Like realistically, like personally, as an artist, I love the process. Acting. I'm so sorry. I'm so tired. I can't do this anymore. Ah. You know what? I'm just gonna go pick him up. I don't want it. The drones are taking too long, okay? There we go. And I need some blue ones, right? Yeah. Hearing voices. Okay, you still have. Alright. So we're gonna need a planet that's like a hub for the... Yeah, no, I'm not even gonna try to fucking think about this right now. My brain is cooked. It was a good day. It was a good day though. I got 4 hours of sleep. Got to visit with friends. Got to stream. Had my day off. My goal is to like never let you guys know when I'm streaming, okay? Like I'm just gonna pop out whenever, and that's the business model, okay? I don't know. Once I'm able to like quit my job, I think I'll be more chronically online. Not like a 24/7 streamer, but like I might do that. If I get like a second computer, so you guys don't see everything that I'm like looking up everything. Cause I kind of be a private person. I like my privacy. I don't want you guys knowing like I want to have a life separate outside of this, you know, that I can like visit with my friends and like help them out with everything and stuff. So if I do that, maybe I can do like all day streams. But we'll see how that goes. Okay, I'm going to bed. You guys have a blessed night. I love you very much.